following is a presentation of TSN and Canadian Hockey.
The last time this tournament was held in Canada, it was also in the West, in Saskatoon in 1991. That year it came down to a game between Canada and the then Soviet Union for the gold medal. The hero in that game was a young defenseman from Newfoundland, John Slaney, who fired home the game-winning goal to give Canada the gold medal. That was 3 years ago. Now the tournament has returned to Canada, to the West. This time, it's Red Deer. And today, it's once again Russia against Canada in a game that will have a lot to say about who wins the gold medal. Canada's in the driver's seat, but the Canadians play Russia next. Yesterday afternoon in Edmonton, Don Hayes Canadians took on Team Finland in front of a capacity crowd at the Edmonton Coliseum. Surprise starter Dan Cloutier was sharp in the Canadian goal, and at the other end, the Canadian sharpshooters were on target. The end result, a 6-4 victory for Canada as the Canadians go to 5-0 in the tournament. Since losing their tournament opener, no one's been hotter than Igor Dmitriev's Russians. Yesterday afternoon at the Olympic Saddledome, Alexander Harlamov scored a huge short-handed goal that put the Russians ahead for good against Sweden. They too recorded a 6-4 victory, and now the Russians' gold medal dream is significant as well.
TSN and the Canadian Hockey Association are proud to present exclusive coverage of the 1995 World Junior Hockey Championship from the Centrium in Red Deer, Alberta. Brought to you by Air Canada for all the world of hockey. And by Imperial Oil and Esso Associates. You're on your way with Esso.
The Centrium is filling up, as are coaches across the country. Buckle up your chin straps, folks, because here we go again. It's Russia and Canada with gold on the line. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Red Deer and TSN's continuing coverage of the World Junior Championship. I'm Gord Miller. Fans in Calgary and in Edmonton on the weekend got a chance to see two great Canadian hockey games. Now fans in Red Deer take their turn. This is the day that Canada could, emphasize could, win the gold medal. If Canada beats Russia this afternoon and Finland beats Sweden, Canada is a champion for the third consecutive year. That would be the first time Canada has ever accomplished that feat. That, of course, is down the road. Right now, Canada must focus on Russia and worry about the other game later. We, however, will keep an eye on the Olympic Saddledome in Calgary. You're looking at it now. In about an hour from now, it'll be Sweden and Finland, and we will bring you the goals as they happen in that hockey game. And once this game is over, and it has a bearing on the gold medal game, we'll take you to the Sweden-Finland game from the Olympic Saddledome. So stay right where you are. We'll have all the bases covered for you. There's two other games being played in the tournament today. They don't have a bearing on the standings. The Czech Republic takes on Germany, while the United States plays Team Ukraine. Those games are for pride and to avoid relegation in the B pool. Right now, our focus on the A pool, the top of that pool, Canada and Russia. Is there anything better to kick off the new year than a game between these two? Can't think of anything. Here are Paul Romanuk and Bob McKenzie.
The game plan you're going to see employed by the Russians in this game will be very similar to the one employed by the Czechs and the one that almost paid off for the Czech team.
And you know what that means? That means that Canada's defense has to make smart decisions coming out of their own end. Because as they come out of their own end, what they're going to see is they're going to see a lot of red shirts in the neutral zone. If you make a bad pass, it creates a neutralized turnover. Don Hayes says we cannot have those. We've absolutely got to get rid of those neutralized turnovers, make the smart pass, penetrate that zone, and be on our way.
And what about in the Canadian end? The Russians like to rush towards the net. Unlike the team they played yesterday, it was not a team, Finland, that liked to charge the net.
No, the Russians drive to the net much harder than any other Europeans in this tournament. As a result, Canada's defensemen in their own end really have to be on their toes. Watch for a very physical game in both ends of the ice for Canada. They want to batter this Russian team.
The other point to keep in mind, Igor Dmitriev, the Russian coach, an international hockey veteran. He has coached dozens of games against Canada. This will be probably the truest test of Don Hayes' coaching career going up against Dmitriev. Gord?
Thanks very much, gentlemen. The players are getting set to take the ice. The fans are in place, and so are we. Coming up next, Canada, Russia, from the World Junior Hockey Championship in Red Deer.
So I'm channel surfing, when it occurs to me, I wouldn't mind hitting one of those fashion TV shows in Paris. You know, I'd find out what's in, find out what's out. That'd be cool. And who knows, maybe someone over there would appreciate the enduring qualities of a true Canadian lager. Hey, trendy colors come and go. Me, I prefer blue.
Do you dream in color? In bottomless blues and screaming yellows? In sounds that shake you to the bottom of your heart? In images clear as crystal and brilliant as ice? In faraway worlds as close as your fingertips? These are what dreams and Sony Trinitron televisions are made of. Make one come true for you. It's your life. Isn't it worth a Sony?
Since the beginning, you could always rely on the airport for wonderful gifts. Fine restaurants, and a splendid place to rent a great set of wheels. Thrifty Car Rental.
Rent from Thrifty and get a long-distance card good for 5 free minutes with a donation to the Canadian National Institute for the Blind.
So wherever you are in Canada, in your neighborhood, or at any major airport, we're there. Your neighborhood Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates.
As a coach, I demand toughness. As a parent, I look for protection. That's why I choose iTech. iTech gloves have a patented freeform fit. And this Tech Light helmet is as light as a feather and highly protective, ideal for growing players. And the iTech face shield provides superior protection and increased visibility. iTech, clearly the best protection in sight.
The teams are primed. Hope you are too. It's Canada and Russia coming up. Starting lineups brought to you by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates. There is some experience in this Russian lineup, but not much. There are only 3 players up front who were on the club last year, so it is a relatively inexperienced team compared to Canada. Back on the blue line, one of the big men they like to go to is Vladim Sherbeterakin. Number 3, a New York Islanders draft pick, key part of their defense. In goal for them, Denis Kuzmenko, who was with the team last year but did not play. Yevgeny Ryabchikov played all the games for Russia last year, including, of course, the one against Canada. You heard the Canadian players talk about the game last year against Russia, how they came exploding out of the starting gate. And they'll be looking to do likewise. Alexander Daig played in a game in which Canada absolutely slaughtered the Russians a couple of years ago in 1993, the most lopsided Canadian victory ever, 9-1. Marty Murray is the leading scorer in the tournament. He is being dynamite. And back in the blue line, again, I stress, as I have every game, that Wade Redden on the depth chart is the extra defenseman, but he takes a pretty regular shift. In goal, Jamie Storr. He played 1 year ago against Russia, played pretty well until the third period. With 8 minutes to go in the game, the Russians turned it on, scored 3 goals to come back and tie it with 55 seconds left. We're all set to start this one up, but before that, let's join our public address announcer for the opening ceremonies.
As a special feature of Canadian hockey programs, youngsters in each community are provided the opportunity by ESSO to experience a dream by becoming a member of Team Canada for a day. Please welcome 10-year-old Chris Melbourne, who will experience a dream this afternoon by participating as a member of Team Canada. Chris will be entered in a draw to win a trip to the 1996 World Junior Hockey Championships in Sweden, compliments of ESSO and Air Canada. ESSO retailers and agents are proud to sponsor ESSO Medals of Achievement. Each year, ESSO presents medals to over 75,000 minor hockey players across Canada who are selected as the most dedicated, most sportsmanlike, and most improved players on their teams. Representing the ESSO Medals of Achievement program this afternoon is Graham Cram. 11-year-old Graham played for Trophy Loft last season, where he was a recipient of the ESSO Medal of Achievement Most Improved Award for his team. Graham is accompanied this afternoon by the premier sponsors of Canadian hockey, representing ESSO, Mr. Dave Thompson, Division Sales Manager, and representing Air Canada, Denis Vandel, Manager of Commercial Sponsorship. Also participating in today's ceremonies, representing the Alberta government and Alberta Lotteries, an official sponsor of the 1995 World Junior Championship, is Mr. Victor Dirksen, MLA Red Deer South. Joining our sponsors, please welcome Mr. Frank Libera, past chairman, Canadian Hockey, and Mr. Marvin Bird, president, Alberta Amateur Hockey Association. Our special guest today is Red Deer native Bill Ranford, member of the gold medal 1994 World Championship team and honorary captain of the 1995 World Junior team. We would ask the team captain of the two teams to come to center ice to exchange gifts, as is the custom in international hockey, and to participate in the official opening face-off to be performed by Graham Cram.
The last game between these two teams at the World Championship in Canada was a classic. Let's see what we unwrap today. The opening face-off when we come back.
There are some things you can't put a price on. Fortunately, safety isn't one of them.
Roadside assistance?
Cantel Amigo for $19.95 a month with no setup fees and no long-term commitment. Because if you had to put a price on safety, this is it. Cantel Amigo.
There's one cake so good, it will keep you coming back for more. McCain Deep and Delicious Cakes, sealed with a see-through dome to keep in all that rich, moist, deliciously fresh taste. So, you can raid the cake tray, seal up the rest, and put it back in the freezer. Till you're ready for the very next craving. McCain Deep and Delicious. Cake so good, it'll keep you coming back for more.
Those two all-beef patties.
Thomas, 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 and Thomas. I'll connect you.
That special sauce.
Thomas and Sons. One moment.
McDonald's Big Mac.
The Thomases.
It's so tempting.
Tom's.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Hi, Judy. Any calls?
Things will pick up after lunch.
Do you dream in color? In bottomless blues and screaming yellows? In sounds that shake you to the bottom of your heart? In images clear as crystal and brilliant as ice? In faraway worlds as close as your fingertips? These are what dreams and Sony Trinitron televisions are made of. Make one come true for you. It's your life. Isn't it worth a Sony?
Hockey, enjoy our great team skill.
Last year it was a Russian bronze. The year before that, the Big Red Machine was a squeaky red machine. They finished in 6th place. But some of the luster is back in this rivalry. The referee of this game will be Swedish veteran Sven-Erik Sold, Ulf Rundmark, a Swedish linesman, and Tim Katera, an American linesman.
Coach Don Hay has two big things he wants his team to work on today. One is to play physical, especially on the forecheck. Very aggressive. Start the same way they did against Team USA. Try and get that good physical start, really pump the emotion up. The other thing is avoid the turnovers in the neutral ice because the Russian transition game is deadly.
Igor Dmitriev last coached the Russian junior team. Then it was the Soviet junior team 10 years ago. He was brought back into the program to regain respectability. A bronze and a 6th place finish, not considered respectable in Russia any more than they would be in Canada. He is an international coaching veteran and he knows Canadian hockey. This will be a real test for Don Hay. Puck up around the boards. Corville there for Canada, back at the line. Gusev moves it in. Puck bouncing around in front. Corville, Murray, and Allison up front for Canada to start this game off. Puck loose at the sides. Evarukin gets it out in front. Sherbeterakin couldn't keep it in at the line. Puck up to McCabe now. Corville going for the net with Allison. Pass across. Puck cleared away by Kuzmenko. Sherbeterakin up to the line. Sherbeterakin will cut out. Gusev is with him. Punched it across in front of the net. Melyakov couldn't knock it down. Now he snaps it towards the net. That's knocked away. Here's Corville for Canada. Corville throwing it up the middle. Had Marty Murray lurking up on the right side, trying to get away, but couldn't feed him with the pass. Daze, the intended receiver, knocked away. Koroluk clears it back in for Russia. Here's McCabe dangerously in front of his own net. Koroluk watching him closely there. McCabe banks it out. And the Russians will control that puck in the neutral zone and set up a game. Jamie Storr is just going to hang on. And the Russians will get a face-off in the offensive zone. We are just underway.
Well, Igor Dmitriev is associated as closely with Russian hockey as perhaps Viktor Tikhonov at a slightly different level. There's the good cop, bad cop in Russian hockey. Tikhonov was always the bad guy. Dmitriev, the good guy. The guy that Canadian journalists have gotten to know over the past 10 years. Extremely likable, friendly man who knows the game inside out. A real player's coach for this Russian team.
Here's Baumgartner. Up to Botterill. Gets it up ahead. Daze trying to catch up to it. Puck knocked away from him by Vishedkevich. Vishedkevich gets it up on the wing. Morozov. Botterill bumped to the ice there. Ran into Koroluk. And up there taking the body is Baturyshin. The Russians can play physically, unlike some of the other teams Canada has faced in this tournament. Klevakin up to the line. Botterill wrapped all over him. Koroluk dumps it in around back of the goal. Morozov trying to get it in front. Vishedkevich moving up. Tapped it down in behind the goal. Here's Baumgartner for Canada. Botterill loose up on the left side. Daze couldn't get it to him. And Don Hay changing him up again. 17:45 to go in the first period. Canada and Russia. Here's Alexander Daig for Canada. Tried to get it up to Friesen. Puck knocked down. Puck down on the corner now, going hard. Harlamov trying to get to it, number 17. Harlamov really with a jump down in the corner. Got to that puck first, but now he's got a battle on his hands. Puck popping loose. Friesen is out there for Canada, along with Harvey as they come across center. Daig a little late following up the play. Here's Sorkin. Harlamov up there forechecking. Only one man up there for the Russians for the time being. Here comes Friesen. Stopped up at the blue line now. Harvey in there. Friesen is in front. Harvey down to the corner. Daig is up there as well. Here's Harvey. Trying to roll it back to the line. Klevakin clears it out for the Russians. Delayed offside on Canada. Harvey has to clear the zone, and Don Hay will change him up again.
Certainly a good start for the Russians. Excellent team speed. Watch the matchup between the Russian forwards and the Canadian defensemen in terms of speed. That's where the Russians hold a big advantage.
Yashmanyev, number 11 up there for the Russians. One of the leading snipers in the Ontario Hockey League with North Bay. O'Neill coming up. Ryan Smith and Tucker are up there with him. Shervederakin gets it down into the corner. He's given a buck. Here's O'Neill up after it. O'Neill gets it in back. Gusev will pick it up. Gusev for Russia, up to the line. Wojtchenko, number 12 on the way. Vorobiev, number 30 is with him, going towards the front of the net. And a penalty coming up against Canada. Bryan McCabe will head off, and the Russians will pick up the first power play opportunity of this hockey game. You're watching the World Junior Championship on TSN.
Hockey. It's been a part of Canada for as long as anyone can remember. It's entertained us, thrilled us, and given us national pride. At Esso, we believe these dreams build not just champions on ice, but champions in life. That's why we're proud sponsors of hockey in communities all across Canada, from the Esso Medals of Achievement to team sponsorships through to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Through our Esso Kids program, we'll continue to be there as long as there's a patch of ice and kids with dreams.
Bryan McCabe in the box for hooking. The Russians with their first power play of the game.
We talked about the Russian speed through the neutral zone. Wojtchenko gets up ahead. Bryan McCabe gets that stick buried in his pants just a little bit. Knocks him off stride. And McCabe's feet weren't moving that fast, and the Russians were. And as a result, when the referee sees that and he sees the stick go in, 2 minutes.
Savarukin, Melyakov, and Sherevyanov up front for the Russians on this power play. That is their number 1 line. Friesen and Marty Murray out there for Canada on the penalty kill up front. Allen back at the blue line with Baumgartner. Puck comes up ahead. Vishedkevich working it down into Canadian territory. Savarukin, number 15, bumping along the boards with Baumgartner. Puck comes back. Vishedkevich working it across now. Gusev trying to fire it in. Gusev, Vishedkevich shooting it. That was blocked at the defense and skips out. Friesen in hot pursuit of Vishedkevich. Here's Sherevyanov. He throws it across to Gusev. All the way across, intercepted, knocked down by Harvey, limping up there after it. Vishetkevich will steer him off along the boards. Puck rolls out in front. Sorkin drilled it just wide. Glorious scoring chance for Lee Sorkin. Vishetkevich drops it off. Badarushin now, trying to get rid of it. He's in trouble. Great penalty killing by Canada. 55 seconds still left in the Russian power play, but Canada with the scoring chances. Here's Dave hustling up there. Harvey high in the slot. Vishetkevich trying to tie up Dave. Russians looking very disorganized. In over the line now. Morozov drops it off. Trying to work it across. Koroluk. Gusev up to Koroluk. Gets it down low. Koroluk again. Gusev shooting it. Storr bats that away. Koroluk couldn't get to it. Puck cleared down the ice. 22 seconds left in the power play for Russia. Marty Murray for Canada. He'll dump it back again. Gusev with Tucker up there to keep him company. Serafulin there to pick it up for the Russians, number 21. He's being pestered there by Marty Murray. Sherbetterkin gets it up to Gusev. Penalized player is back on. The team's all even up, but here comes Harlamov up over the line. Harlamov dipping and diving his way in towards the net. Puck in front now. Klevakin scores. Dmitry Klevakin following up a brilliant rush by Alexander Harlamov, and the Russians take the lead.
You can't give away the puck in your own end. There was a loose puck directly in front of a couple of Canadian players. Nolan Baumgartner went off his skate. Right there, Marty Murray tried to clear it, fanned on it. Darcy Tucker couldn't get it. And Harlamov makes a nice rush, penetrates the zone. But Klevakin picks it up and puts it right between Storr's leg from right in the slot.
Team Russia goal scored.
Tough play. Marty Murray, an excellent job of penalty killing. Just fanned on that shot and couldn't clear it out of his own end.
Harlamov picks up the only assist on Klevakin's goal at 6:01, and the Russians with the lead. Teams back at even strength, 13:40 to go in the first period. The giveaway resulting in the goal, as you pointed out, Bob, but still a nice rush by Harlamov to carry it in deep to Canadian territory. Delayed offside there on Canada. Donovan and Allison both backing off. Puck along the boards. Donovan gets it up to Allison. He's there with Corville. To Allison. Shoots, scores! Jason Allison ties it up.
Well, turnovers proved costly once again. This time it's the Russians who give up the puck in the neutral zone. Allison to Corville. Corville back to Allison, and he just snipes it past Denis Kuzmenko. And Jason Allison, who leads this tournament in assists with 9, picks up a goal. He has not dominated play the way that he's capable of playing. This could be a good omen for Canada today as he evens the score at 1.
The goal comes 41 seconds after the Russians had taken the lead on a goal from Dmitry Klevakin. Jason Allison gets it. Larry Corville picks up an assist. And the joint is rocking here in Red Deer. Puck cleared in. Botterill moving up after it. Badarushin gets there for the Russians. Daze knocks it down. Now it's picked up. Sherefyanov trying to drop it off along the boards. Botterill clears it back in. Daze moving up there. He bumps his man along the boards. Puck comes out. Sherefyanov couldn't get to it. Tucker just dumps it back in for Canada. First period action, 12:37 to go. Day 6 at the World Junior Hockey Championship. Malikov hauled down there as he tried to get by. No penalty call. Smith is in motion. Up ahead of O'Neill, trying to get loose. Smith down to the corner. Gusev gets there first for Russia. Koroluk feathers it up along the boards. Allen clears it right back in. Delayed offside. Canadian forecheckers right back up there. Ryan Smith up trying to chase Gusev out from back of the net. Gusev just throws it up the middle. Icing waved off. Epenchiev up there to forecheck for the Russians. He couldn't get much going. And Canada is called for icing. 11:54 to go. There's the Canadian goal scorer, Allison from Corville at 6:42. We are tied.
Those 2 all-beef patties,
Thomas, 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 and Thomas. I'll connect you.
that special sauce,
Thomas and Sons. One moment.
McDonald's Big Mac.
The Thomases.
It's so tempting.
Tom's.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Hi, Judy. Any calls?
Things will pick up after lunch.
The 1995 World Junior Hockey Championship, brought to you in part by your local McDonald's restaurant and by Canadian Dairy Products, naturally the best.
Hey, the hottest ticket in Canada to be found today in Red Deer. The Centrium is jam-packed for this penultimate game of the World Junior Hockey Championship. Both these teams with one more game to go, but this one will weigh heavily when it comes down to gold. Here's Friesen. Turns away from his check and clears it in. Harvey moving up along with Dig. This is the big threesome for Canada. Has been the whole tournament. Friesen, back of the net. Can't get it away from Guillotula. Now Dig, trying to muscle his way in. Dig over along the boards. Oktikov trying to knock him down. Harvey didn't get much in the shot. Sarufin was watching him. Puck comes loose. Here's Harvey stumbling after it. He's knocked down. Plevakin gets it up around the boards. Harlamov there waiting for it, trying to come out. Harlamov gets a little help. Now he'll scurry after the puck. Can't get there in time. Russians with a hurried line change. Boychenko clears it in, and the Russians may have been caught with too many men in the ice. It was a harried line change, and the puck came right over by the bench. A 2-line pass is the call, so there is no too many men in the ice penalty.
Looked like a bad fire drill down in front of the Russian bench. Ed Jovanovski just directs that puck up. It's deflected. Looks like they got quite a few guys out there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's another one over there. Got to be a good 6 players on the ice. Maybe 7. No call, though.
Boychenko, number 12, darting up there after it for the Russians, but McCabe will try to carry it out. Vorobiev knocks it down. Number 30 for Russia. Clears it up. Boychenko back of the net. Trying to get it out in front. Yashmanyev hanging out in front of the net. Puck comes back now. Vishenkiewicz clears it in off the glass. Boychenko trying to get it in front. Yashmanyev is parked right in front. Back at the line now. Batarishin trying to fire it in. Yashmanyev in back of the goal. Couldn't come up with it. And you can hear the referee yelling, move it. Russians backing off somewhat. And Corville just hanging on to it. And finally we get a whistle.
The 1995 World Junior Hockey Championship Association would like to thank Chrysler Canada.
Oh, Jamie Storr in net today. He had the day off yesterday against Finland. A lot of people wondered after Dan Cloutier played as well as he did against Finland whether Storr would be in net today. Cloutier was pretty much outstanding yesterday. Had trouble tracking one shot off the boards, but for the most part, excellent. 40-plus shots he faced against the Finns. There was no decision as far as Don Hay was concerned. He had every intention of coming in with Storr in, regardless of what happened yesterday.
Sheriff Yanov shoots. Hit the outside of the post right off the draw. Trying to poke it in front. Melyukov up there after it. Here's Botterill starting out slowly for Canada up to Peterson. Just throws it across. Melyukov clears it back in for the Russians. Storr. Wary of the forechecking Sheriff Yanov, who's all over his man Allen along the boards. Allen just trying to cover it up, and he does. 9:43 to go in the first period. 1-1 is the score. Plevakin scoring for Russia at 6:01. Allison for Canada at 6:42.
Coach Don Hay opted to change up his checking line a little bit today. Big Eric Daze, who filled in for Jeff Friesen in Friesen's absence in the first part of yesterday's game, has taken Sean Donovan's place on the checking line with Dennis Peterson and Jason Botterill. Donovan's the 13th forward today, maybe spotted here or there, especially in penalty killing roles.
Here's Botterill. Trying to work it up. Sheriff Yanov up there by the blue line can't come up with it. Botterill lunging after the puck. Here's Baumgartner for Canada. Zabarukin trying to dig it loose. Gusev was stiff. Daze will come away. Botterilla's with him. So's Baumgartner. This is Baumgartner. Flicks it in on goal. Puck's rolling it around back of the net. Baumgartner will get it back again. Lots of traffic down in front of Kuzmenko. He just rings it down. Botterill trying to center it for Daze. Puck to the boards. Gusev after it now for the Russians. Gusev coming up with Zabarukin. And a penalty coming up. It'll be a hooking call. And it's going to go against Canada.
It was dawn when I first saw it. The wonderful land of Canadian cheese. The sun was rising over exquisite Emmental omelette. I made my way to the very peak of the divine Monterey Jack. Yes, I cut my way through celery stalks stuffed with cream cheese and a blizzard of walnuts to come upon a plateau of potatoes smothered in golden cheddar. After your questions, there'll be a buffet of delicious cheeses.
Welcome to the land of Canadian cheese.
You're watching a warm-up live, Sweden and Finland. Big game at the Olympic Saddle Dome in Calgary, and we will have live updates from that game. Now, the penalty situation here. Penalty situation here a little bit strange. Canada was initially called, but then the Russians put an extra man on the ice because it was a late penalty, and they got caught with too many men on the ice because the goaltender hadn't come to the bench. Thus, all the confusion.
That's a big mental error by the Russian team. Jason Bottle from the University of Michigan, that's not the penalty. He got away with that one. It was the next one he gets. Just that series, one of those lesser ones was actually the penalty. Referee Sven-Erik Sold let him away with one down in the corner. Didn't call that, but then called a lesser infraction up the ice.
Korolak comes in, so it's 4-on-4. Offsetting penalties. Alexander Korolak snaking around, gets it out. Sharavianov gets it back. Kiatulin shoots. That's tipped in the way through. Storr just steers it away. This is McCabe. Leaves it there for Jamie Rivers. Here comes Rivers. Lead pass for Friesen. Daig is there too. Friesen driving in. He's got McCabe high in the slot. Friesen down low to Daig. Daig in front to Friesen. Can't pull the trigger. Gusev was right on him. Puck comes up along the boards. Korolak out to center. Makes his shot. He's going to step up there. Ivanchinski with the puck now. Batarishin. Long shot. Storr steers that one away. Rivers thought he had Batarishin lined up. And here comes Rivers back out for Canada. 45 seconds left in the 4-on-4. And icing is called on Canada.
Well, Jason Allison scored some big goals for Canada last year, really emerged. That was his coming out party last year. Big, strong guy on the puck, not a particularly swift skater. And he's got tremendous point output in this tournament. 2 goals and 9 assists. And I've got to tell you, he hasn't even come close to playing the dominating kind of hockey that he's capable of. He hasn't played poorly, but he hasn't played great either. Yet he's been in on an awful lot of goals. He had 4 assists in yesterday's game against the Finns. If he can turn it up to his usual notch, which has just been a cut above what he's been through most of this tournament, Canada's gold medal chances are good indeed.
Here's Lee Sorkin for Canada. Moves it up and ahead. 35 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Wade Redden hustling up after it. Redden down into the corner. Spun around there. Redden couldn't get away. Vyshedkiewicz was watching him. Puck comes up. Allison knocks the puck down. Vyshedkiewicz there to pick it up, number 18. Vyshedkiewicz just clears it up over the glass and out of play.
Well, one of the big reasons this Russian team's even here today, undefeated, or rather 5-1, and in position to win the gold medal, perhaps, is Alexander Harlamov, the 15th overall pick in the '94 draft, the Washington Capitals, and of course the son of the late great Valery Harlamov. You saw our opening today. You saw him score a tremendous goal that really turned the tide against the Swedes yesterday. Short-handed breakaway goal. Blocked the slap shot on the Swedish power play. Raced the length of the ice. And from laying flat on his stomach, put it between Jonas Forsberg's leg. That was really the difference in yesterday's hockey game in so many ways. Gave the Russians a reason to believe. And a big reason why they're here today fighting for gold medal.
Jovanovski shoots, rebound, right in front of the net there for O'Neill. Couldn't quite bury it. Sherevyanov moves it up. He flies up over the line, crisscrossing there with Gusev. Down in deep now. Zemarukin trying to get it in front. Here's O'Neill. Look at Harvey trying to claw his way through. And gives a little jab there to Sherevyanov. What a performer he's been. Here comes Smith. Smith barges in front. Almost tucked it home. Burst his speed from Smith. Rivers back at the line. Sherevyanov watching him. Gusev battling with Harvey. Smith is out in front. Now he'll come in trying to pick it loose. Smith gets it. He's got O'Neill in front of the net. Centers it. O'Neill's right there. Trying to jab it loose. Battling with Zemarukin. O'Neill in back of the net. Checked in the play. Harvey can't get loose. He's tied up in front. Sherevyanov out to center. Rivers now for Canada plays it back. Boychenko up there watching him. Puck handed away. Yatsmanyev looking, waiting. Can't get the shot away. Yatsmanyev losing his balance. Couldn't get the puck in front. For the giveaway, not costing Canada there. Boychenko was decked. Bonnaril moving up after it. Kiatulin. Here's Yatsmanyev now. Daze up to give him a rough ride along the boards. Canadians with some solid hits now. Daze gets it out. Allen was moving up but couldn't get to it. The puck cleared out by Boychenko. And icing is called on Russia. We got hitting. We got scoring. We got a game.
This season, decorate your party with cool new package designs from Pepsi. It's the Pepsi Holiday Party Bunch. Get them before they're gone.
Hey, look who's here!
It's day off tomorrow at the World Junior Championship. The schedule wraps up Wednesday. Canada will play Sweden. The importance of that game, a TBA to be announced.
Well, the importance of this game, you can tell. Right up there, some great saves. Jeff O'Neill, great save by Kuzmenko. Kuzmenko's only played 2 games in this tournament. This is his 3rd. Ryan Smith tries to tuck that one in. Kuzmenko holds the fort. Some great hits out there as well. Great pace in the first period. Canada-Russia, would you have it any other way?
Tucker out there with Donovan and Corville for Canada. Here's Korolak. Redden watching him. Puck poked loose. Corville pulled down there by Korolak. Morozov stepping into his man as they scrum after it. Donovan right up there trying to pick it up. Batarishin moves it ahead. Yedkovich clears it in. Story's going to leave it there for Sorkin. Being watched closely. Morozov, number 13, buzzing around up there for the Russians. And the puck cleared in. Offside called on Russia. 4:39 to go in the first period. We're tied at 1.
Because you wear them till their tongues hang out. Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
Well, Coach Don Hay has his big offensive unit out there now. Alexander Daig, Todd Harvey, and Jeff Friesen. Don Hay mixing the lines up a little bit. Had Todd Harvey out playing his shift of center a short while ago. He's trying to work that bench a little bit and see if he can't get something going.
Fulin going after it there for the Russians. Number 21 along the boards. Harvey clears it up. Here comes Daig zooming in there. And Kuzmenko hangs onto it. And Daig a little jousting with Harlamov in the corner.
Alexander Daig has had an outstanding tournament here. He came in There's lots of questions as to whether the kids that played with the Ottawa Senators last year had just been worn down too much by the grind of being the #1 overall pick, the $2 million burdensome contract. Imagine $2 million being a burden, but it was for Alexander Daig last year. He's come in here, he's been absolutely marvelous. Work ethic, using his tremendous speed to advantage, fighting hard for the puck. Finally got his first legitimate goal of the tournament in yesterday's game against the Finns. Was credited with one before that, was actually belonged to Jeff Friesen. But Daig has just been a joy to watch in this tournament, and the guys have said he's a joy to have on the team. I'll tell you what, him and Friesen together, the two most dynamic individuals in this tournament.
Here's Friesen up there after it. Klivakin sweeping the puck out. Harlamov legging after that. He'll try to get outside on Allen, but Allen hangs tough. Puck in front. Sale Fulin up there trying to get it in front. Here's Harlamov. He's hauled to the ice. Chad Allen playing him tough on that rush. Lead pass a little bit too far for Friesen. Friesen down into the corner. Watching Gusev. Puck up around the boards. Harlamov to Klivakin. Throws it across. And the puck just bounced in towards the net by Badaryshin, and a little bit more bumping up in the corner. A hooking call coming up. Make that interference. We'll sort it out for you in a moment.
We gave Dodge Ram the most powerful overall line of truck engines on the planet. A driver's side airbag, the option of 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, a cab design that sets a new standard for comfort and room. Then, after we made the Dodge Ram that good, we made it this bad. Introducing new Ram Sport from Dodge, Canada's truck stop.
Alexander Daig in the penalty box for interference. I'll tell you something right now. Canada had better be very careful, because every time they're in pursuit of a Russian player and they start hooking at him, the referee is tempted to call a penalty. Coming back down the ice, the player doesn't have the puck. And you see Alexander Daig just using his stick to give the guy a bit of a hook going down the ice, and that was a penalty in the referee of Sweden, Sven-Erik Sold's eyes.
So a power play for Russia, a 1-1 hockey game. And it's been a fine first period. Epanchishev clears it up. McCabe into the corner. Zabarukin circling in front of the net for the Russians. Yashedkevich up to Zabarukin. Works it down low. Sorkin there to scoop it for Canada. Puck knocked down. Melyukov trying to get it in front. Sherevyanov going after it. Puck around the boards now. Badaryshin gets it across. Yashedkevich firing it in there. He'll get another chance now as he moves it down. Sherevyanov. Yashedkevich. Back to Sherevyanov. Gets it there at the side. Zabarukin rolled it right across in front of the net. Russians just move that puck around. 1:05 to go on the power play. McCabe trying to chop it loose for Canada. Battling with Melyukov. Puck up around the boards and out. Yashedkevich now for Russia. Moves it up, 52 seconds left in the Russian power play. McCabe, a couple of chances to whack it out. Puck kept in at the line. Korolak bats it into the corner. Melyukov up there after it. And Peterson makes sure this time for Canada with 37 seconds left in the man advantage for the Russians. Here's Gusev. Gusev on the way, drops it off. Up in over the line, Morozov couldn't drive through. The puck cleared back out by Nolan Baumgartner. 17 seconds left. Darcy Tucker up there for Canada. Short-handed, he's up front with Todd Harvey. A couple of pesky forecheckers for the Canadians. Very aggressive short-handed. Epanchishev up over the blue line. Epanchishev rated on goal, almost finished off. Down in the corner, Morozov looks around, battles in front, had his pocket picked there. Baumgartner with it. Penalized player is back out there. Teams all even up, 1:42 to go in the period. 1-1 hockey game. Here come Daig, Tucker, Harvey, shooting, rebound in front of the net, knocked away. The net dislodged behind the play after Kuzmenko had made the save.
End-to-end action. Epanchishev went in, deked Nolan Baumgartner right out of his you-know-what, and just slid the puck past Jamie Storr, and then back down to the quick transition, Alexander Daig. fed that puck to Todd Harvey and then went hard to the net, knocking Kuzmenko in the net off the moorings. That puck was deflected in a good toe save. There's Daig following up the play. And just before that, Vadim Panchintsev, Tampa Bay draft pick, great move around Nolan Baumgartner, knocked to the ice and shot that puck wide.
1:32 to go in the first period. 1-1 hockey game. Here's Sorkin for Canada. Being watched there. Okotnikov keeping an eye on him. Harvey is parked out in front. Daig looking for him. Here's Daig working in front. He's got it. He rolls it just wide. And a delayed penalty coming up against the Russians. It will be a slashing call. Canadian power play coming up with 1:10 to go in the period.
Well, Igor Dmitriev doesn't like that one. Tail end of the period. Number 6, Okotnikov. He was trying to chase down Alexander Daig. When you've got speed and you go to the net as hard as Alexander Daig is going. We're still looking for the penalty. I'll tell you what. Soon to be some invisible penalties out there today. Alexander Daig's interference penalty a few moments ago was just for incidental hook up the ice. And I'm not sure Okotnikov's was any more deserved than Daig's. In fact, I know it wasn't.
Murray, Allison, and Daze out there in the Canadian power play to start things off. McCabe and Rivers back at the point. Here's McCabe. Gets it across to Rivers. Back to McCabe. McCabe up to Murray. McCabe with a shot, score! Daze! Eric Daze with the deflection and Canada with the lead.
Everything on the Canadian power play is geared to getting it back to the point for the shot. They don't have the shot, they keep trying to work it. Ryan McCabe did not get nearly what he wanted to on that shot, but as it turned out, it was a blessing. The big 6'5" Eric Daze redirects that. A nice touch for the Beaupart Harfang, big winger, providing the screen in front of the net and a nice deflection. And a big difference between Canada on their power play for what was a cheesy penalty compared to the Russians on their power play a few moments ago for what was also a cheesy penalty. Canada scored.
Daze gets the goal on a deflection. McCabe and Rivers earn assists at 19:06. 45 seconds left in the period. Boychenko has to turn back. Here's Gusev. He'll clear it in. Vorobiev moving up. He'll hang back in front of the net.
19:06.
Puck rolls up. Where's Boychenko? Up to Allen. Daig bumping into Vorobiev. 20 seconds left in the period. Yachmaniev there in front for the Russians. Puck knocked down. Boychenko with Yachmaniev in front. Shoots. Storr steered that one away. Shervatikin with the puck. And that will do it. Canada with the late goal. And the lead after one. And listen to this hand. This crowd is into it. Hope you are too. Canada leading 2-1 after one. Gord Miller coming up with McDonald's first intermission. That's when we come back.
Cantel's Amigo is proud to present this World Junior Hockey memorable moment. January 1st, 1988, a golden performance by the netminder.
There are some things you can't put a price on. Fortunately, safety isn't one of them.
Hi, roadside assistance?
Cantel Amigo for $19.95 a month with no setup fees and no long-term commitment. Because if you had to put a price on safety, this is it. Cantel Amigo.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the capital of the wonderful land of Canadian cheese. On your left is the fabulous Fontina Fountain. Note its watermelon brochettes. And here it comes, the magnificent Monterey Jack Monument. And our National Garden alive with fresh Colby and blue cheese. Finally, we have the Golden Gouda Palace. Don't forget our delicious cheeses at our souvenir shop.
Welcome to the land of Canadian cheese.
Ice crystals removed. Ice smoothness remains. A revolutionary way to brew beer. Discover Labatt Ice. Ice smooth. Ice brewed. And the only one with a patent to prove it.
McCain has a tasty pizza snack. They call them pizza pockets. McCain! Pizza pockets. The great pizza taste will keep you coming back. McCain! Pizza pockets.
Pizza perfection in a crust that's baked, not fried. So there's no leaks, no mess. Just taste. All taste and nothing but
McCain! Pizza pockets.
No leaks, no mess. Just pizza perfection.
You know, you do have the best seat in the house, but this one is even better. We have our private eyes trained on someone during each period of play. We're watching Eric Daze on this play during the Canadian goal.
Well, when you're 6'5", 215 pounds, make a much better window than a door. He gets up there right in the face of the goaltender, and it pays off. Good positioning. That's the strategy on the Canadian power play. Get big man in front of the net and get the puck back to the point for a shot.
Eric Daze, a Chicago draft pick, 90th overall in 1993. Plays with Beauport. Was great during the playoffs for that club last year. And he's come up big in this tournament so far.
Hey, 59 goals for Beauport last season. Big scorer. Blackhawks have got to like his possibilities of playing for their team in the future.
Away we go. Second period action. Teams start the period at even strength. Canada leading by a score of 2-1. Remember last year, Canada built up a 3-0 lead before the Russians turned the tables in the final period. Daze with a real snipe. Now Botterill will drill it up off the glass. Sherifyanov works it up ahead. Gusev trying to get it up. Peterson knocks it down, shoots, rebound in front. They charge the front, score! Daze! It's Eric Daze with his second of the game, and Canada leads it 3-1.
Well, great work by the Team Canada checking line. There's a giveaway. A bad giveaway by the Russian defenseman. The shot goes on net. Followed up by Dennis Peterson and Eric Daze. Good work by Jason Botterill. Flips that puck up. Followed up by Daze. Three big, strong guys. The Canadian checking line out against the Russians' top unit. Scores one there.
Sergei Gusev had given the puck away. And Canada grabs the lead. Badarushin pokes it up ahead. Epanchishev couldn't come very far. Koroluk clears it up ahead. Morozov trying to come in over the Canadian line. Here comes Darcy Tucker. Smith going for the front of the net. Tucker gets it in front. Smith just failed to cash in. What a drive by Tucker. Morozov trying to hook it away there from McCabe. Badarushin. Long pass, gets it up ahead. Koroluk on the move, coming in. Seifullin going for the front of the net. He couldn't get it to him. Jovanovski. Seifullin going after the puck. Giatulin clears it in, and he is hammered back behind the play. Anvar Giatulin getting up rather slow. Back now comes Day. Harvey's in front. Hits the trailer. Sorkin trying to jump in there. Just missed the sliding check from Klivakin. Daig is up there after it for Canada. Daig digging hard. Harvey had his man teed up. Harlamov just ducked out of the way there. Harvey shooting. Rising shot. Kuzmenko knocks it away. Quick shot by Harvey. Sharavianov. They got Harlamov giving a bump, but he got it up. Klivakin cuts in front. Waiting. Shoots. Storr knocked it away. Rebound into the corner. Harlamov has lost his stick. He just leaves it there. And the puck cleared out. Gusev starting back. And he has to rag the puck. Harlamov had to retrieve his stick, and he is away late coming out. Gusev clears it in, and offside called on Russia. Great chance for Klivakin. He really tested Jamie Storr. Canada leads in this one 3-1.
To make room for the advanced thinking that went into the new Chrysler Cirrus, a big idea was needed: cab-forward design. Space for a new kind of seat that actually reduces driver fatigue. Space for an improved dual airbag system with its own backup electrical source. In back, space for another heating system and room for 3. Cab-forward design. Now there's room for thought. The new Chrysler Cirrus. Luxury has never been easier to get into.
McCain has a tasty pizza snack. They call them pizza pockets. McCain! Pizza pockets. The great pizza taste to keep you coming back. McCain! Pizza pockets.
Pizza perfection in a crust that's baked, not fried. So there's no leaks, no mess. Just taste. All taste and nothing but
McCain! Pizza pockets.
No leaks, no mess. Just pizza perfection.
Now, Storr sometimes sounds like score, but there can be no doubt when he's making saves like this one.
Good save on Dmitry Klivakin, who already has the first Russian goal. And good hitting out there. Todd Harvey lays into his man, number 5. I looked at his name. It just intimidated the heck out of me. You want to try it, Paul?
Envar Giatulin.
Giatulin, you know what? I think you're cheating. I'm going down there at the intermission, asking how he pronounces his name, and I'll bet you it's not Giatulin.
No, it's not that simple, no doubt.
It's about 27 letters long.
Here's Gusev. Storr is going to leave it there for Redden. Canada with 2 goals in 1:26 if you take it back, time running till late in the first period. And a 3-1 lead. Sherbatterkin moves it across. Here comes Gusev up to the line. Gusev flips it by Corville. Yachmanev going up after it. McCabe clears it away. Boychenko centers it in front. Yachmanev was there. Gusev shoots. And Jamie Storr holds on to it.
Good recovery by Jamie Storr. He was on one side of the net, had to dance to the other side. And things pretty much even in the first period. Not a lot to choose. Canada a couple extra hits, but that's negligible. Scoring chances 2 more. Power play working at much better efficiency, and the power play really has been a key for Canada throughout this tournament. 18 for 41.
Off the draw, here's Chad Allen. Melyukov trying to button him down along the boards. Vishetkevich drops it back there. Baturyshin. Zavarukin will start out, number 15. He has pretty good speed. Carries up to the line. Shoots it in there. Jamie Storr will knock it down and holds on to it. Good little burst of speed there by Zavarukin, number 15, the Russian captain, as he cranked it up from his own end. Got a shot from the top of the slot.
Don Hay knows that this Russian team is very resilient. And if he doesn't know it, certainly coaching staff last year remembers it. Up 3-0. They had to settle for a 3-3 tie, and Jamie Storr had trouble with that shot by Zavarukin. That's a matchup we're going to see all day long. Zavarukin's line with Melyukov and Sherifyanov. Zavarukin and Sherifyanov, both draft picks of the New Jersey Devils. Melyukov hasn't been drafted. They will be up against Dennis Peterson, Eric Daze, and Jason Botterill all day long. And Paul, you touched off the top about the coaching. Igor Dmitriev's coaching. He's a fine coach, but the Russians don't like to match lines. The Russians have the last change here, and he's allowing that matchup to take place.
Well, he hasn't been matching lines much in the tournament, according to some of the advanced scouts for Canada. Here's O'Neill. Rolls it up ahead to Smith. Tucker up there to join him. Ryan Smith chugging into the corner. He's bumped in back of the net. Tucker up there to claim the spoils, but doesn't have much breathing room at all. Okhotnikov trying to tie him up. Okhotnikov along the boards. He's all over Tucker, stuck to him like a second coat. Tucker still trying to turn away. Okhotnikov not backing off an inch. Okhotnikov finally knocks it loose. Sorkin moves in. He gets tangled up. Here's Sorkin down low. Smith tried to bash it home. Off of Tucker's skate. Ryan Smith after it. O'Neill, side of the net. Couldn't get his stick on it. And the puck off the boards. Ed Jovanovski at the line. Able to keep it in. Down to Tucker. He's got O'Neill up there with him. Here's Jeff O'Neill for Canada. And that is stolen there. Morozov will start back. Morozov coming up there with Koroluk at center. A real scrum at the line, and Morozov almost deked away, but Tucker back there to take it away from him. Tucker back up for Canada, feeds it into Friesen's corner. Here comes Jeff Friesen in back of the net, battling with Anisimov. Anisimov, he's decked by Harvey. Puck comes loose. Harvey tried to cut in front, had it knocked away. What a hit by Harvey. Stepped into his man. Here's Daig in front. Friesen couldn't get it. Penalty coming up against Russia. But once again, this line just doing a job for Canada. Harvey, Friesen, and Daig. What a trio.
Hockey. It's been a part of Canada for as long as anyone can remember. It's entertained us, thrilled us, and given us national pride. At Esso, we believe these dreams build not just champions on ice, but champions in life. That's why we're proud sponsors of hockey in communities all across Canada, from the Esso Medals of Achievement to team sponsorships through to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Through our Esso Kids program, we'll continue to be there as long as there's a patch of ice and kids with dreams.
Artem Anisimov in the penalty box for the Russians. A cross-checking call in front. Lots of action in front.
Well, they don't keep the statistic, but I'll tell you right now, Todd Harvey has drawn more penalties by the opposition, and he's also laid out some huge hits, and that was one of them there. Just pounded him down, and John Ferguson, he knows a little bit about the rough play. Former Montreal Canadian tough guy, now director of player personnel, and he's got to be happy for the Ottawa Senators' sake at how Alexander Daig's played in this tournament. And I'm sure he took a special pleasure from watching Todd Harvey put the Russian on his backside.
That was Anisimov who he decked. No doubt contributing to his frustration level on the cross-check. Right at the side, here's Harvey. Daig shooting just wide of the open net. McCabe down there. After Daig, back to McCabe. McCabe over to Rivers. Back to McCabe. No clear shot. Now he'll pound it. And that was not a clear shot. It's tipped up over the glass and out of play. 1:34 left in the power play for Canada. What a chance for Alexander Daig a few seconds ago.
Well, everybody on that line had a good shot at it. Harvey first, then Friesen, then Alexander Daig, and the puck was bouncing, couldn't get a lot on it. Friesen came out from the corner, did a good job. There's Harvey, pushes it over to Daig. Goaltender Kuzmenko got the big glove up. Puck off to the side of the net. Again, the preference for Team Canada on the power play, get it back to the point. You saw Brian McCabe with it just a moment ago. Waited a little too long, and that puck was deflected out of play.
Daig crisply gets it up onto the stick of Friesen. Working it in. Working it back. Rivers shoots. Knocked down. Harvey trying to get it loose. Friesen is robbed. Daig fires it wide. 1-2. Great chances. Here's Rivers with another one. He'll work it down low. Friesen looking, gets it down. Daig with Harvey in front. Daig looks. Back to Rivers. Ready, aim, fire. Knocked down and a quick whistle. Referee lost sight of the puck. He thought Kuzmenko had it.
Textbook power play by Canada. Everything being generated from the back at the point. And Jeff Friesen had a great opportunity on a rebound to slam that one in. Again, good reaction by Kuzmenko. Very quick on his feet. Daig follows it up with another shot. Every time Daig goes to take a shot, it seems like the puck is on end. There's the quick whistle that Kuzmenko couldn't freeze, but the referee blew anyways.
Murray beetling around in there, trying to get it out. Zavarukin. 37 seconds left in the power play for Canada. Melyukov coming down. Delayed penalty now coming up against Canada. And that will do it for the Canadian power play. Jason Allison heading to the box. So we're back at even strength with 13:12 to go in the second period.
To discover the real difference between the world's two leading soft drinks, we're implementing an anthropological study. Chimp A will be allowed nothing but Coke. Chimp B, nothing but Pepsi. The results are astounding. The chimp that drank Coke showed improvement in motor skills. The chimp that drank Pepsi, however, disappeared.
Hello? It's him!
Well, Jason Allison gets what's called a high sticking penalty. What it basically was a restraining foul. Puck being advanced up the ice. You'll see there it is right there, right on the arm. Zavarukin was breaking up the ice. For 30 seconds, the teams will play it 4 skaters aside.
Zavarukin shoots one right off the drive. It's kind of off balance. Zavarukin overlooking for the loose puck. This is Sorkin trying to turn away from him. He meets with some success there and will leg it out to center. Sorkin clears it in. Marty Murray trying to get through. He's being held up in the play. Batarishin doing a bump along the boards. That was O'Neill up there. Zavarukin coming back. Zavarukin at the line. Vishetkevich was with him. Puck comes over now. Klebakin going after it. The Russian player back in the ice, and Russia on the power play for the next minute and a half. They trail in this game 3-1. 12 and a half minutes to go in the second period. Ipanshisev drops it back. Puck comes up now. Morozov trying to get loose. Fires the puck in. Ipanshisev down in the corner. Ipanshisev knocks it loose. Nobody in front. Top of the point. Vishetkevich gets it over. Scores! Sergei Gusev gets a power play goal for Russia, and it's 3-2. Canada still with the lead.
Well, turnabout is fair play. Power play goal for Canada late in the period. And a power play goal here for the Russians. A lot less patient than the Russian teams we remember in the old Soviet Union. This time they just tee it up from the top of the circle and overpowers Jamie Storr. Ipanshisev back on the point, and Gusev winds up and lets that one rip. Nothing fancy about that, but brings the Russians back to within 1.
Team Russia goal scored by number 8, Alexander.
Vishetkevich will pick up an assist.
Number 13, Valentin Morozov, and number 3, Vladimir Timothyev.
Russians come back in, teams at even strength. Morozov trying to barge through.
Number 8, from 13, Morozov, and number 3, Timothyev.
McCabe moves it up. Here's Friesen. And he's finally tied up by Gusev. Puck fired up around the boards. Rivers will move over after it. Up from his right point position. He got caught. Serafulin comes back up to Morozov. Looking back to Serafulin. Works it across. Scores! And we are tied up. Two quick goals. And the big red machine is humming along. Alexander Koroluk was the third man in there.
Well, Jamie Rivers pinched in at the blue line and got burned. Worked for him in the game against the Czechs. He scored the winning goal that way. This time, though, no chance. Koroluk, number 8, just finishes off that nice three-way passing play. Started by Morozov, Seifulen passed it over to Koroluk. Into the net. Tie game.
Pass up ahead for Ryan Smith.
Goal number 3 for
Here's
Team
Tucker.
Russia, scored by number 8, Alexander.
Donovan is in front. And Smith is beaten up there in the corner. He lost his stick. He was roughing it up with Anisimov. Sorkin gets it up ahead. Here's Smith. Shoots just wide. Puck up around the boards. Klivakin will start back. He has Harlamov with him. Here comes Klivakin in over the blue line. Trying to walk through. Down to the goal line. Klivakin overskated it. Sorkin bumps him. Harlamov is up there. He's decked. Harlamov right back into the play. He's really roughing it up with Sorkin along the boards. Tucker comes down. Klivakin trying to kick it loose for the Russians. Ryan Smith for Canada gets it out. Donovan up there after it. Badarishin chopped it away from him. And icing is called on Canada. 10:30 to go in the second period. We are all tied up.
World Junior Hockey Championship Association would like to thank Radio 7 and CKRD for their goals.
Because hockey season lasts until July, Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
Dallas Stars General Manager Bob Gainey and his Director of Player Personnel Les Jackson in behind him. Watching a number of his players. Prospects Todd Harvey and Jason Botterill on Team Canada. Both draft picks of the same Dallas Stars. Back-to-back first rounders, 93 and 94.
Vorobiev up there chopping his man down. Baumgartner looked at the referee appealingly. Badarishin shoots, and Jamie Storr is going to hang on to it. Be sure to join us at the conclusion of this game for the TSN Turning Point. TSN Turning Point brought to you today by Apple Auto Glass with the guaranteed Bond for Life system from coast to coast.
A properly installed windshield could keep a roof from collapsing. That's another reason Apple Auto Glass only uses the Bond for Life installation system. Protect what really matters. Apple Auto Glass.
3-3 is the score. 10:04 to go. Daze taps it out. Here's Gusev. Melyakov. Long pass up. Knocked down by Peterson. Daze's up there for Canada. Daze has 2 goals in this game. Scored 1 to finish up the first period and 1 to open the second. Gusev gets it down low. Sheriff-Yanov gets it in front. Puck just smoked wide by Zavarukhin. Zavarukhin has been dangerous this period. The Russian captain, Sheriff-Yanov, was in front. Couldn't get to the pass. Sorkin drops it back. McCabe will hustle over to get it. Here's Peterson. Runs into Gusev. Melyakov clearing it in. And offside called on Russia. A couple steps ahead of the play was Vadim Sheriff-Yanov at the line.
No question, Don Hayes is going to talk to his defense about pinching it at the blue line. I think you're going to see the Canadian defense start being a little more careful. Try and read that situation. Jamie Rivers got burned a little bit on that last one. Also in their own end, seems to be a little more standing around going on. That last shift for the top line, Zavarukhin for the Russians. Danced around the Canadians pretty good. Russian team is so resilient. They always have been.
Apanshisev up there after the puck for the Russians. Anisimov was belted along the boards there. He's been maybe the most physical of the Russian players in this game, both in the giving and receiving end. Anisimov on the way back. He comes to center. Gets it across. He'll come up now. Koroluk trying to get it back to him. Here's Koroluk. He's got Morozov out there. Apanshisev is in front, and the pass just missed him. Back out comes O'Neill. O'Neill up there with Tucker. In over the line, and offside called on Canada. 8:37 to go in the second period. You're watching the World Junior Hockey Championship live on TSN.
Those 2 all-beef patties.
Thomas, 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 and Thomas. I'll connect you.
That special sauce.
Thomas and Sons. One moment.
McDonald's Big Mac.
The Thomases.
It's so tempting.
Tom's.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Hi, Judy. Any calls?
Things will pick up after lunch.
Here in Red Deer, it's 3-3, Canada and Russia. We have our first goal from the Olympic Saddledome in Calgary. Sweden on the power play. Per-Johan Axelsson feeds it over to Peter Ström, who scores with the man advantage. Midway through the first, Sweden leads 1-0.
Yeah, Sweden's got to win that one to keep gold medal hopes alive. There are about, I don't know, maybe a couple of hundred different permutations for who could win, who could tie, who could lose, and what could happen. Easiest thing, though, and the simplest way to put it is the way Don Hay has put it. Canada wins, they control their own destiny.
Canada loses, and they don't control their own destiny.
Harlamov looking for it. Serafulin gets it up ahead to Harlamov. Dipping into the corner. Serafulin in front, shoots. Rebound, loose at the side. It'll come back out. Batarishin with a shot. Friesen dropped in front of it. Fired in now, Bishetkovich, and it's held onto by Jamie Storr. Good pressure by the Russians.
And a good shot blocking exercise by Jeff Friesen. Canada's big shooter comes out and does a great job of blocking the shot from the point. But a bad sign for Canada when their top unit is running around in their own end. Jeff Friesen had to make sure he blocked that shot, because I'll tell you what, he really gave it away on a really bad between the legs, behind the back pass. And a good shot by Batarishin.
Off the drop. Vorobiev can't knock it loose. Canada controlling. 7:56 to go in the second period. We are all tied up at 3. Allison clearing it in. Marty Murray will hustle up there after it. Murray down into the corner. Allison coming up to join him. Sorkin up there for Canada. Can't keep it in. Vorobiev just clears it across. And two-line pass call on Canada. Icing the faceoff will come back into Canadian territory. 7:34 to go in the second period. Story of the game brought to you by Canadian Dairy Products, naturally the best.
Well, if this game holds true to form and the story continues, expect the goals to come in bunches. 2 and 126 for Canada, even less than that for Russia. The big game for Eric Dazé, inserted as a winger on the checking line in place of Sean Donovan.
Sherevyanov in on the faceoff. Peterson dips through there for Canada. Knocked down. Zavarukin shoots it in. Jamie Storr will drop it off there for Baumgartner. Here comes Baumgartner. He has Dazé going up the middle. Passes behind Dazé over to the open right-hand side. Okotyakov just stepped out of the way of Dazé, who had him lined up. Anisimov clears it out. Here's Baumgartner for Canada. Melyukov up there looking for him. Anisimov, long shot. Storr will leave it there for Baumgartner. Baumgartner under some pressure suddenly. Puck in the corner. Melyukov comes out with it. Trying to journey his way towards the front of the net. Ipanchysev cutting in front. He's knocked down. Puck comes up ahead. Dazé for Canada will just feather it in and step to the bench. Don Hay making some changes on the go. O'Neill clears it in. He's out there with Allison and Murray. Allison stepping up. Given a bit of a bump there by Anisimov. And Anisimov will move the puck up. McCabe skating back. No icing. And looks as though we have penalties coming up. At least one. And the penalty is going against Canada and against Russia. Offsetting minors.
There are some things you can't put a price on. Fortunately, safety isn't one of them.
Hi, roadside assistance?
Canada Cantel Amigo for $19.95 a month with no setup fees and no long-term commitment. Because if you had to put a price on safety, this is it. Cantel Amigo.
Offsetting minor penalties going to Alexander Koroluk of the Russians and Lee Sorkin of Canada.
Number 7, Lee Sorkin. 2 minutes each for
And right on your right-hand side, you can see them sort of jousting.
41.
Right now, the Russians doing a very good job on Don Hayes' club defensively, making all the right decisions on the pinches.
Here comes Alexander Day. Dishes it up ahead. Friesen fired it in. Wasn't at a great angle. Ivan Shisev goes after it. Vishedkevich takes the pass. Vishedkevich walking in. Tried to get it out in front of the net. He had Morozov up there with him. Now he centers it, but there's nobody home for the Russians. And Jamie Storr hangs onto it long enough to get a whistle. Good little burst of speed by Sergei Vishedkevich coming down the right-hand side. He plays for Dynamo Moscow, 19 years old. Now, this record is only since 1982, since the institution of the Program of Excellence by what is now the Canadian Hockey Association. Prior to that, the Russians beat Canada on a fairly regular basis.
That blowout in Yavla, that 9-1 loss, was really the low point for Russian hockey. The real fallout from the breakup of the Soviet Union in evidence that year, but they had a bronze medal last year. They're in the hunt for the gold this year. The Russians are back.
Offside called on Russia, and that was the mission of Igor Dmitriev when he was made head coach of the team, to bring respectability back to the Russian junior hockey program, and he seems to have done it this year.
The only game the Russians have lost in this tournament was to the Americans. The opening game, a 4-3 loss. I talked to Igor Dmitriev after it. He says he was at a loss to explain what happened to his team. He said we just didn't show up. We had some good opportunities. Doug Bonner was excellent in Team USA net. But aside from that one blemish, they, like Canada, have been flawless.
Some very disciplined wins, too, in there. Close hockey games. Murray works it across. Rivers drops it down. Allison looking around. Allison still. 4-on-4 situation. A little bit of extra room, but that quickly dwindles along the boards, but cleared out.
Well, it strikes me Team Canada's trying to cut things a little too fine in the offensive zone. They should be going for more shots on this goaltender, see if he might not be vulnerable.
Here's Harlamov one-on-one with a shot. Trying to use McCabe as the screen. Murray picks it up. Pulled it away from Harlamov. Marty Murray rolls it up. McCabe on the move. Allison trailing. Here comes Allison looking to the slot to Murray. Waiting, shooting, kicked away. He didn't wait long before he unloaded that one. Kuzmenko with a nice save. Yachmanyev back the other way. Centers it in front of the net. And Storr holds the fort. He had hard pressure coming in, and Storr is hurt. Back the other way comes O'Neill. And play is called. That was Vadim Sherevianov, number 19, going hard to the net. He was up there with Yachmanyev. And Storr really took a blow from Sherevianov.
And you certainly know that Jamie Storr is not going to stay down on the ice unless he's in some degree of pain. With his team back coming on offense and having a scoring opportunity, Jeff O'Neill. Marty Murray had a great opportunity. That's what I mean about getting some more shots. Start shooting the puck from the deep slot on this guy, Kuzmenko. Find out just how good he is. There's the Russian player, Sherevianov, sliding in. It was Wade Redden who brought his man down. Vitaly Yachmanyev can't get Brian McCabe. Good 2-on-2 defense by Team Canada. A little bit fortunate that that puck didn't end up in the net. Jamie Storr looks like he got at the skates, right in his midsection.
There's a backup goaltender, Dan Cloutier, who played yesterday in Canada's win over Finland.
Doesn't look as though Cloutier's services will be required. Jamie Storr is up. Probably a little bit winded. Maybe took a pair of skates to the midsection and
It was purely unintentional. Sharavianov was going hard to the net. He was pulled down, and the skates, and it looked as though he got kneed right below the midsection, actually. And that would account for Storr getting up a little bit slowly, but he appears to be okay. Here's Baumgartner. Red trying to give it over to O'Neill. Harvey along the boards pulled down. Two penalized players are back on. The team's back to 5-on-5. Here comes Yachmaniev up to the line. Gusev is with him right in on goal. What a rush by Yachmaniev, and just couldn't finish off. Up along the boards. Kuzmenko trying to keep it in. Puck down in the corner. Korolak. And play is called. The puck was tapped with a high stick, so we get a stoppage. And what a rush by Yachmaniev as he waltzed his way in.
Oh, just another night in the Ontario Hockey League for Vitaly Yachmaniev of the North Bay Centennials. And Jamie Storr of the Owen Sound Platers and Nolan Baumgartner got undressed by Yachmaniev. Yachmaniev, 34 goals in 34 games in the Ontario Hockey League for the Centennials. That puck was up and rolling. Jamie Storr just followed him nicely. Kings general manager Sam McMaster, man who drafted Jamie Storr.
Rivers shoots, scores! Jamie Rivers right off the face-off, and Canada gets another. They're up 4-3.
That's what I said about getting some shots. That wasn't a particularly hard shot. Wasn't particularly well placed. It was just in the general direction of the net. The puck had eyes and somehow got by. Allison does a good job on the face-off. A good job by Marty Murray to tip that back. Right between the legs of Larry Corville. Lots of traffic in front of the net. There's never anything very fancy about the way that Canada plays hockey, whether it's in this tournament or anything else. The idea is to put a lot of people in front of the net, shoot the puck at the net, and hope for the best.
Goal number 4.
That's exactly what happened there, Paul.
Rivers gets the goal from Allison and Murray at 16:09. And they're right back in off the face-off. Here's Harvey. Here's Friesen. There's Harvey again. Friesen trying to loft it on goal. Dagan back in the net, digging away. Harvey in front. Great stop by Kuzmenko.
Century, I'm going wild now. Alexander Day did a tremendous job behind the net of stripping the Russian defender of the puck. And then out in front, Todd Harvey gets one big whack at it and then just about decapitates Kuzmenko. Got to be careful you don't get a penalty in that situation, and Jamie Rivers heads off after that shift where he restored Canada's lead. St. Louis Blue draft pick. Who, as Ron Caron told Gord Miller earlier this week, Gord asked him, how does a guy like that get to be a third-round pick? He says, because he didn't get drafted in the first or the second round.
Here's Murray. Back to Sorkin. Shoots. Steered away. Kuzmenko didn't see it till the last second. Lots of traffic in front of the Russian goal. Allison with lots of traffic back in the net now. Murray trying to jab it loose. Gusev goes after it. Murray lets it go for Allison. Couldn't get it back to Murray. Harlamov now. Not much room to move. Gusev hurries it up around the boards. Murray's on top of it again. Persistent forechecking by Marty Murray. Gets it down there for Allison. Sherbatterkin bumps him. Murray for Allison. Steps around Gusev. Almost. Gusev will pick up the loose puck. And he will just guide it out. Sorkin with Serafulin in hot pursuit. Serafulin bumps his man, and Harlamov looks for a loose puck. Not forthcoming. 2:32 to go in the second period. Canada leading Russia by a score of 4-3. Jamie Rivers with the go-ahead goal at 16:09.
Well, the Russians were pinned in their own end for a long time there by Jason Allison, Marty Murray, Larry Corville, going with the Canadian equivalent of a full-court press. All three forwards up forechecking, almost behind the Russian goal line. Lined up three right across, and the Russians had a tough time coping with that. The danger or the risk in that is if they do manage to get an outlet pass, they're away to the races with the quick transition.
Here's Yachmanev. Clears it in for the Russians. Boychenko up there after it. Bumps Storr a little bit on the way in. Vorobiev trying to get it loose. Here's Rivers. Around the boards for O'Neill. He's got company. Given a bump there by Batarishin. Puck cleared down the ice, and icing is called on Canada. 2:10 to go in the second period. The other big game going on right now is between Sweden and Finland. It's taking place at the Saddle Dome in Calgary. They are finished one period. Sweden is leading by a score of 1-0.
Well, a combination of a Canadian win and a Swede loss would clinch the gold medal for Canada today. Combination of a Canadian win and a Swedish win would set up a gold medal game on Wednesday night.
Batarishin shoots. Jamie Storr got his pad on it. Puck up off the boards. Botterill pressured by Batarishin, but Batarishin got caught. It's Daze and McCabe in there. Scores! Hat trick for Daze!
The Russian defenseman gets caught pinching. Number 14, Batarishin. LA King prospect, and it's Daze coming down on the 2-on-1, and he just fluffs that shot into the net. Going up with Jason Botterill. Smart to not make the pass. If you make the pass, there's a chance you're going to turn it back over, and the quick transition is going to burn you. And I'm sure Eric Daze would have liked to get more on that. He basically fanned on that shot. Caught a lucky break. And again, you shoot the puck at the net, you never know what's going to happen. The last two Canadian goals have been far from classic shots, but both of them have gone in. And I'll tell you what, it's not exactly the Chicago Stadium reaction, but one fan, oh, more than one fan, we're up to about a half a dozen fans.
The key here, though, is
hats out onto the ice.
Batarishin gets caught at the blue line, and that opened it up for the quick 2-on-1.
Daze's got great speed, good vision, and he just knuckleballs that right by Kuzmenko, who couldn't afford to come out and cut down the angle. Not that the Russian goaltenders challenged that much anyways. But the 2-on-1 meant he had to stand back in the net a little more than he would have liked to. That's another factor for that goal.
So Canada once again with a 2-goal lead in this game. They had a 3-1 lead early in the second period. The Russians melted that in 46 seconds.
A big day for Eric Daze. 59 goals last season in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, a Chicago Blackhawk draftee who was the big surprise of the evaluation camp. Held at Edmonton Coliseum a few weeks ago. Came in and basically stole himself a position on the team. He was the best player in the evaluation camp.
Ivan Shisev comes in. Gets it in front of the net. Morozov after it in back of the goal. Ivan Shisev on the backhand trying to roll it in. And that's cleared out by Tucker. Anisimov back to get it. Here's Morozov trying to beat 3 Canadians, and that's how that ends. Anisimov off the boards. O'Neill taps it up to the line. Koroluk will wind it up. Hits the line. Offside called on Russia. Ivan Shisev was a step ahead. Right at the line. And a penalty coming up against Russia. And a game misconduct, or a 10-minute misconduct on Alexander Koroluk, who took a poke at a Canadian player with his stick. He is burning.
You gotta be disciplined when you play international. You gotta be disciplined when you play any hockey, but especially in a short 7-game international tournament. And Korolak, who's done his team so much good here today, scoring their last goal.
Well, the initial penalty came because the puck was fired after the whistle. We've seen that a number of times in the tournament, but this time a penalty is called by Sven-Erik Sold. Here you can hear the shot after the whistle. That was well after the whistle, a good second and a half. That was the initial penalty. Then Korolak got involved with a Canadian player, about 10 feet in front of the Russian bench, and it ended up with Korolak taking sort of a jab with his stick, and then Sven-Erik Sold saw that from the other side of the ice and signaled a misconduct penalty. Initially, I thought he had signaled a game misconduct, but it looks now as though it's only a 10-minute misconduct.
Korolak's had a strong game. They're going to miss him.
He's a San Jose Sharks draft pick, their 6th pick in 1994.
Look at Igor. Igor's been through the hockey wars. There isn't anything he hasn't seen. It's Valentin Kozin, the head of the Russian delegation here.
Well, very uncharacteristically undisciplined of the Russians.
Canadians not getting too involved. Jeff O'Neill over there, kneeling down. It's a little surprising that the referee, Sven-Erik Sold, would actually call a penalty for shooting puck after the whistle. He's entitled to do that. We've seen it happen a half a dozen times throughout this tournament. That's the first time a penalty's been called. Under those circumstances, as a rule, maybe you go over and give the guy a warning, say, you do that again, we're gonna have to call you for a penalty. But Sven-Erik Sold decided to pull the penalty. Call out of the back pocket, and as a result, Canada will go on the power play with 1:01 left in the period.
For shooting the puck after the whistle, a 5-minute major for slashing, and a game misconduct.
So the game was indeed in all of that signaling by Sven-Erik Sold. It's a 10-minute misconduct for shooting after the whistle, a 5-minute major for slashing, and with that goes a game misconduct.
Well, the irony is that he didn't have any penalty that was going to really penalize his team other than his absence for 10 minutes. Then when he goes crazy and takes the big chop at the Canadian player, now I wonder what the referee calling a 5-minute major for a guy who swung and barely touched a guy, to be honest with you. But hey, you got to be disciplined. You make your bed, you lie in it. Now Canada's got an enormous opportunity here to open up a big lead.
Well, a real gift for Canada, especially with their great power play that is 18 for 41 in the tournament. The best. Rivers given a bump by Harlamov. And McCabe will start back. Canada with a 5-minute power play, 28 seconds to go in the period. Dagan freezing up along the boards. Harvey's down there. Here's Todd Harvey. Drops it back for Alexander Day. McCabe over to Rivers. Tried to get it back to Day. Broken up. Serfulin coming back up to Harlamov. Serfulin trying to break in on goal. Couldn't take the return pass. Here's Daig with it. Canada will start the final period with a man advantage for 4 minutes. And they will also start the period with a 5-3 lead. So some undisciplined play by the Russians and perhaps some rather harsh officiating by Sven-Erik Sold towards the Russians. Second intermission coming up. McDonald's live at the intermission with your host, Gord Miller. You're watching live coverage of the World Junior Hockey Championship on TSN. We'll be right back.
This World Junior Hockey memorable moment is brought to you by Cantel's Amigo. January 1st, 1990, Canada shows that it isn't over until it's over.
There are some things you can't put a price on. Fortunately, safety isn't one of them.
Hi, roadside assistance?
Cantel Amigo for $19.95 a month with no setup fees and no long-term commitment. Because if you had to put a price on safety, this is it. Cantel Amigo.
The Canadian team overcomes a 3-0 deficit against the Soviet Union, rallying back with 6 straight goals. They went on to beat the Soviets 6-4 and kept their dreams of a gold medal alive. This World Junior Hockey memorable moment has been brought to you by Cantel's Amigo, the first cellular phone to bring you affordable peace of mind.
Once upon a time, there was the wonderful land of Canadian cheese. Everything there was delicious. But sometimes the mountain of golden cheddar thundered, creamy mozzarella flowed from the volcano, and Parmesan snowed from the heavens. But the sun always shone on the fresh bocconcini cheese and tomatoes.
Another story, Mommy.
Not now.
Welcome to the land of Canadian cheese.
We're in a garbage crisis. One reason McCain chose to pack their juices in these aseptic boxes rather than non-refillable glass bottles. 1 liter aseptic packages use 88% less material than non-refillable glass, generate 85% less solid waste, consume 62% less energy. Plus, it would take 30 trucks to ship 1 million empty 1 liter glass bottles to their factories and just 2 to ship the equivalent in aseptic packaging.
McCain made their choice for the environment.
Canada's junior team's intense focus has propelled it to the top of the world. They've dominated the 90s with gold in 4 of the last 5 years. This year, they're looking to repeat the feat on home soil, as Red Deer and all of Alberta are host to the world. The 1995 World Junior Hockey Championships, live right through to the final game, Wednesday. Canada faces off against Sweden. The puck drops here on TSN.
McDonald's, live at the intermission, has been brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurant.
Third period moments away. It is 5-3, Canada with the 2-goal lead, and let's look at how things went offensively in the second period. Eric Daze, who scored a goal late in the first period, scored his second of the game 32 seconds in. Gusev then scored on the power play for Russia to get them on the board. 46 seconds later, Korolak scored, and we had a tie hockey game. But then Canada with 2 more, Jamie Rivers at 16:09, and then Eric Daze completing the hat trick at 18:08. Shots on goal after a couple of periods, 21-16 in favor of Canada. So the Russians head out down by a couple. They were down by 3 at one point last year heading into the final period against Canada. And they came back and tied the game up. So still a lot of hockey to be played. Time to take a look now at the play of the period. Like I said, we're not going to look at the play of the period. Well, you think back to 1 year ago, and there are several similarities. The biggest of which being that Canada did hold the lead and seemed to be very much in control heading into the final 20 minutes. You know, we've seen teams strike quickly in this tournament. Canada in the game against the Czech Republic, down by a couple of goals, couple of quick ones, they tied it up. And I wonder if it's just because it's junior hockey and momentum can change that much more quickly than it does in the pro level.
Well, the transition games are so good. Canada on the power play here. To start the period, 3 minutes and 48 seconds as of right now.
Here comes McCabe. Up there for Canada. Long power play. McCabe fires it in. Gusev gets it up around the boards. Here's McCabe. McCabe gets it up. Over to Rivers. Murray darting around in the corner. McCabe fired a bullet just wide of the target. And the puck cleared out by Gusev. Into the Russian bench, so we get a stoppage.
This update on the out-of-town scoreboard.
Well, Canada picked up the pace a little bit in the hitting, opened up a gap of 6, as well as scoring chances.
1-0.
Igor Dmitriev
likely hasn't seen anything in this game that has surprised him. He's been in the coaching business for over a quarter of a century, over 25 years. Last worked in the national junior program in Russia 10 years ago, and has coached many games or been behind the bench in games against Canada. He knows how Canadian hockey players play. Yachmaniev caught up there offside. Well, now we'll get to that play of the period. And the play of the period, not hard to figure out that Eric Daze might figure in it. He's having a great game for Canada, has a hat trick. And this was Daze's hat trick goal, just kind of floated it in behind Denis Kuzmenko. Play of the period brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi reminds you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. Wade Redden for Canada. 2:58 to go on the power play. Canada with a 5-3 lead. And right now enjoying the benefit of what, in the opinion of some, was a bit of a questionable call by referee Sven-Erik Sold.
It's a big gift, and Canada really needs to take advantage of it.
Here's Friesen trying to get down to the corner. Badaryshin tied him up. Friesen right back into the play, looking, works it back. Here's Redden. Gets it up ahead, Alexander Daigle. Harvey is parked right in front. Daigle gets it across, puck knocked down, and Zavarukin will start back out for the Russians. He just comes to center, being very conservative, a man short. Redden works it up to Harvey. Bumped there by Badaryshin. Friesen is going for the front of the net. Puck comes out for Harvey. Harvey looking. Rivers and McCabe both moving up from the point. Harvey gets it back to McCabe. Back down into the corner. Daigle looking for it, bumping with his man Anisimov. Hey! Harvey looks, down low to Daigle. Harvey goes for the front of the net. Friesen is there too. Lots of traffic around the goal. Harvey shooting. He is robbed. Great stop by Kuzmenko on Harvey. Comes back out. There's a shot by Rivers. That's knocked away. Great pressure by Canada. 1:33 to go in the power play. Scores! Harvey! Todd Harvey makes it 6-3 Canada.
If at first you don't succeed, try again, and that's exactly what Todd Harvey did with that one. 2 moments earlier from the other side, Todd Harvey was robbed by Kuzmenko. Jeff Friesen goes diving for this puck, but Alexander Daigle, so quick on the loose puck, uses his speed to advantage. And Canada's got something to cheer about. They've still got 1:31 left in the power play. And they do take advantage of a big gift from the referee, Sven-Erik Sold.
Goal number 6.
Harvey gets it from Daigle and Friesen in the power play at 2:29 of the third period, and Canada with a 6-3 lead. Denis Kuzmenko, the Russian goalie, had done everything. A couple of brilliant stops. Here comes Smith, right up in front of the net. They score! O'Neill! Jeff O'Neill gets the goal, and Kuzmenko is hot.
Kuzmenko is saying he had that puck. Kuzmenko is saying the puck was frozen, the whistle should have gone. I'll tell you what, O'Neill got the goal. It was good play, Johnny on the spot. But Ryan Smith, when the Edmonton Oilers drafted Ryan Smith, number 6 overall, they said, we love the way he comes off the wing and drives the net. This is the way you drive the net. Takes his first shot, follows it up. And he never had that puck. And actually, Smith did a pretty good job of not running into his man.
Timeout, Russia.
Todd Harvey got the first power play goal. Now he's got the second goal. And now the Russians have called a timeout. Down by 4 here early in the third period. Canada gets its second power play goal. On what I would consider to be an enormous present from the referee. Maybe deserved to have a power play when Korlak went nuts at the end of the second period.
Harvey scores in the power play at 2:29. 19 seconds later, Jeff O'Neill with a power play goal. And Canada with a 7-3 lead, and the Russians with a new goaltender. Yevgeny Tarasov will come in. Tarasov played yesterday in the victory against Sweden.
We were actually surprised to see Kuzmenko in today. Kuzmenko's only 2 games in the tournament were a 7-1 win over the Germans, which wasn't too difficult to handle. And he also participated in the opening day loss to the U.S. So we fully expected to see Tarasov in net. We are now, after Canada's lit up Kuzmenko for 7 goals. A good number of them not his fault. He's made some pretty good saves.
Again, Bob, you touched on it, but just to come back to the call made by Sven-Erik Sold late in the second period, after the whistle, Alexander Koroluk tapped a Canadian player, swung his stick towards a Canadian player. It was a pretty good swing, but it was after the whistle, and he got called 5 minutes for slashing and a game misconduct.
5-minute majors in a game misconduct are usually reserved for intent to injure, and I guess he was intending to injure somebody, but he didn't come close.
Daze in front, score! They're blowing him away. Murray makes it 8-3.
Marty Murray, the leading scorer in this tournament. Again, Canada, good work down low. Jason Allison. Oh, geez. Is that Eric Daze again? Out in front to Marty Murray. Eric Daze gets a helper to go with his 3 goals. And Marty Murray. What a heads-up hockey player this guy is. Brandon Wheat Kings, the captain of the Brandon Wheat Kings. His 6th goal of the tournament. They've still got 45 seconds left on the power play.
3 power play goals in 38 seconds.
And number 9, Jason Allison.
Here comes Daig. Daig flying up there. Gets it back. Rivers shoots. Tarasov will hold on to that.
3:07.
We got a blowout here, folks. Let's see what's going on between Sweden and Finland. Gordon?
At the Olympic Saddledome in Calgary, Johan Davidson takes the puck from the boards, moves across the blue line, and beats 2 Finnish defenders. He tucks home Sweden's 2nd goal of the hockey game, 2-0 midway through the second.
And here the wheels have come off the big red machine. It's 8-3. Canada with the lead. Now, if you just kind of nipped out for a minute, it was 5-3 Canada. Here's Sorkin up to Jovanovski. He shoots. Tarasov stops it and covers up the rebound. Canada with 3 goals in 38 seconds, all on the power play to start off this 3rd period. And all of a sudden, it's not even close.
No, and you can only go on talking about the 5-minute major so long. The simple fact of the matter is the Russians continuing to lose their composure. Koroluk made a bad play in the 2nd period. He put himself in the situation where he's going to do his team some harm by acting like a bit of a crazy man. In the Canadian power play, you have to give it credit. Firing on all cylinders here. The Russians did a good job to start off, killing off that penalty, but boy, oh boy. 8-3.
Puck rolled through, a delayed penalty coming up. And the penalty is against Russia. Here's Jovanovski. Throws it across. Jovanovski taps it up. Sorkin with Daze in front. Back to Jovanovski. Penalized player back out. Jovanovski's given a bump. Daze chopping at it. Botterill's down there too. Delayed penalty on Russia. So Canada will have another power play. After the puck is touched and fired down the ice by Vadim Sharapyanov.
All my life was a paper.
If you have a dream,
What's plain, pure, and white?
we have the color.
Till you moved with your brush and with your special touch, made the colors just right.
And there's a lifetime of color at your Benjamin Moore dealer.
Decorated my life.
Benjamin Moore, a stroke of brilliance.
Decorated my life.
We gave Dodge Ram the most powerful overall line of truck engines on the planet. A driver's side airbag, the option of 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, a cab design that sets a new standard for comfort and room. Then, after we made the Dodge Ram that good, we made it this bad. Introducing new Ram Sport. From Dodge, Canada's truck stop.
The 1995 World Junior Hockey Championship, brought to you in part by your local McDonald's restaurant and by Canadian Dairy Products, naturally the best.
The most goals Canada has ever scored against Russia at the World Junior Championship, 9. In 1993 in Yavla, a 9-1 victory. Last year, these two teams tied at 3. Canada on the power play again.
3 for 6, 11 shots. Batter in the penalty box.
Here's McCabe. Gets it up ahead to Murray, to McCabe, shoots. Tarasov got a piece of it. Murray with a shot. Tarasov stopped that one as well. Here's Jeff O'Neill. Rivers, up high. Gets it over. Rivers gets to McCabe. Gets it across. Allison was right in front. O'Neill just missed him with the pass. Here's Allison. Back out to McCabe. O'Neill battling away in front of the Russian net. Here's Allison stepping up, shoots. Kicked away by Tarasov. 1:15 to go in the Canadian power play. 15 minutes to play in the third period. Canada leading Russia 8-3. Wojchenko bumped along the boards by Rivers. On the way, Daig and Harvey. Here's Daig. Up to Harvey. Friesen is in front of the net. Friesen battling in front. Harvey back to Daig. Daig still waiting. He's got Friesen in front. He's got Harvey in front. And he's got the Russians on a string. Daig with a backhand shot. That's kicked away by Tarasov. Daig was just playing his own game right there.
You can see that one coming. They kept on giving him more and more room. It was only a matter of time before he was going to walk out.
22 seconds left in the Canadian power play. 14:05 to go third period. 8-3, Canada leading Russia. Sefulin. Sefulin over the line, but not much further. This is Harvey up there with Friesen, trying to get it across. Sefulin back to check him. Puck moved up ahead. Harlamov after it, couldn't catch up. Yashedkovich at the line, but offside called on Russia. You're watching the World Junior Championship from Red Deer.
Those 2 all-beef patties.
Thomas, 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 and Thomas. I'll connect you.
That special sauce.
Thomas and Sons. One moment.
McDonald's Big Mac.
The Thomases.
It's so tempting.
Tom's.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Hi, Judy. Any calls?
Things will pick up after lunch.
Since the beginning, you could always rely on the airport for wonderful gifts. Fine restaurants and a splendid place to rent a great set of wheels. Thrifty Car Rental.
Rent from Thrifty and get a long-distance card good for 5 free minutes with a donation to the Canadian National Institute for the Blind.
So wherever you are in Canada, in your neighborhood, or at any major airport, we're there. Your neighborhood Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates.
Puck up along the boards. Canada with an 8-3 lead in this game. Here's Ryan Smith. Can't come in much further than the blue line. Long way to come back for Yachmanev. Yachmanev walking in. Couldn't quite finish off. Jovanovski on the way. Daze and Tucker up there with him. Jovanovski bumped over along the boards after he got rid of it. Daze and Smith then back in the net. Trying to double team and take that puck away. Teams all even up. 12:50 to go in the third period. Ryan Smith battling with Zavarukhin along the boards. Badaryshin up there too, number 14 for the Russians. And the puck squeezed in there somewhere. 8-3 here. Another goal. goal scored in the Sweden-Finland game. Here's Gord Miller.
Shortly after the goal by Davidson, Nicholas Sundstrom gets the deflection, then gets his own rebound in front. It comes just 1 minute and 20 seconds after the second Swedish goal. 3-0. Sweden leads midway through the second.
If those scores stay the same as they are, this one 8-3 for Canada, and still in the middle of the game, really, Sweden-Finland. But if they hold true to form, it'll be a gold medal game on Wednesday night between Canada and Sweden.
And that's what most people anticipated from the outset. Peterson fires it, and that one up over the glass and into the crowd.
Dennis Peterson, number 13 overall in the 1993 entry draft of the New Jersey Devils. Big, strong, lumbering center from the Prince Albert Raiders. Came into camp, maybe he's a bit of a long shot to make this team, but he's positions himself so well. Very savvy guy that can play both ends of the ice.
Yeah, I'm told by other Western League coaches he reads the play so well, and he doesn't always play with the other top forwards on his Prince Albert Junior team. He brings the level of play of the guys he is with up, however, and that's such an important factor. And Isamov after the puck. Here's Morozov being watched by Botterill. Morozov. Botterill checks him and clears it back in. Okhotnikov gets it up ahead. Melyakov cuts in, top of the slot. Up there with Sarafulin. Shermatikin with a shot. That's knocked away. Morozov trying to circle away, find some room, find a way to come back, and it's a long way to come back for Russia in this one. Trailing 8-3. Shermatikin clears it in. This is Baumgartner. Gusev. Gusev in over the line, long shot, that's caught by Storr. And we'll take another breather with 11:15 to go in the third period.
At the conclusion of today's game, the premier sponsors of game.
This season, decorate your party with cool new package designs from Pepsi. It's the Pepsi Holiday Party Bunch. Get them before they're gone.
Hey, look who's here!
Super crisp, super spirals. McCain, what have you done to my fries?
We've spiced them up.
All right.
We've crisped them up.
Brilliant.
We've even curled them up.
Excellent.
McCain has taken its famous super fries, dipped them in light batter, and surrounded them with bite after bite of crispy, crunchy, super spicy satisfaction, straight ahead or curled around. Super crisps and super spirals from McCain. You'll love what we've done to your fries.
Tonight's story brought to you by the Canadian Dairy Products Association, naturally the best. Canada's power play is the best in this tournament. 21 power play goals, and counting, I'm sure. The power play was #1 at the World Juniors last year. 25%, but it's up close to 50% in the tournament. That's the Russian player who was kicked out, Alexander Koroluk. Picked up a 5-minute major for slashing. With that went a game misconduct. And with that went the hopes of Russia in this game. Canada blowing them away on the 5-minute power play with 3 goals early in the third period. That is the story of the game.
Got to be disciplined when you play international hockey, and Koroluk certainly wasn't. Shot the puck well after the whistle. Was given a 10-minute misconduct, but wouldn't leave well enough alone.
Klevakin pulled down as he came in over the blue line, and Russia will get a power play. Long way to come back, but maybe they can take step #1 with this man advantage. We'll be right back.
Hockey. It's been a part of Canada for as long as anyone can remember. It's entertained us, thrilled us, and given us national pride. At Esso, we believe these dreams build not just champions on ice, but champions in life. That's why we're proud sponsors of hockey in communities all across Canada, from the Esso Medals of Achievement to team sponsorships through to the Hockey Hall of Fame. Through our Esso Kids program, we'll continue to be there as long as there's a patch of ice and kids with dreams.
It was dawn when I first saw it. The wonderful land of Canadian cheese. The sun was rising over exquisite Emmental omelette. I made my way to the very peak of the divine Monterey Jack. Yes, I cut my way through celery stalks stuffed with cream cheese and a blizzard of walnuts to come upon a plateau of potatoes smothered in golden cheddar. After your questions, there'll be a buffet of delicious cheeses.
Welcome to the land of Canadian cheese.
Jeff Friesen in the box for Canada.
Team Canada penalty.
Friesen on the back check.
Jeff Friesen.
Going after number 9, Klavakin, who had the first goal of the game for the Russians. Pretty nifty puck handler. Klavakin's a pick of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Plays for Spartak in Moscow. The Soviet #1 division. Sherifyanov kicks it down into the corner. Baumgartner for Canada hurries it around the boards. Yachmanev, one of the best Russian scorers out there with Vadim Sherifyanov, another sniper. And they will need all the sniping they can get. Zavarukin gets it back to the line. Yashedkevich works it down. Scores! Sherifyanov.
Quick hands on Vadim Sherifyanov, the New Jersey Devil draft pick. First round from 1994. Tried to pass that puck out into the slot and got the rebound right back. It hit Nolan Baumgartner's skates. Right out into the slot. Bingo, right back on his stick. Caught Jamie Storrs unaware. I'll tell you what, Paul, it's now a 4-goal lead. And that's a long, long way to come back, as the Russians did a good job of lots of traffic. But they came back from 3 last year in the final half of the final period. And if there's any team in this tournament, besides Canada, that's capable of coming back from a big deficit, this would be the one. You don't want to lay down and roll over against these Russians. They're a very resilient crew.
Now, a salient point on your part. There were 8 minutes to go in the game last year. Canada had a 3-0 lead. Seemed to be cruising, and the Russians just bang, 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 and tied it with 55 seconds to go. Down in the corner, Morozov looking to get it out in front. Morozov circling around. Teams back at even strength. This is Wade Redden carrying for Canada. Has Tucker up ahead of him along with O'Neill. And Isamov pokes at it. Tucker trying to knock it down. And Isamov moves it up. Here's Harvey. Friesen up there, forechecking. Harvey up there to join him. Daig is parked in front. Daig high in the slot. Harvey going for the front of the net. Intercepted there by Seyfulin. Here's Harvey now for Canada. Drops it off to Daig. Friesen centers it out in front. Puck rolling. Sorkin shoots. Tarasov's got it. He took a little peek behind him. That telltale glance over the shoulder told you that Tarasov wasn't totally sure he had that one.
Chrysler Canada is proud to be exclusive automotive sponsor for the 1995 World Junior Hockey Championship. With MotorTrend's 1995 Car of the Year, the new Chrysler Cirrus. We know what it's like to be part of a winning team.
Oh, that last power play goal by the Russians serves a bit of a wake-up call for Team Canada. Tarasov didn't have a lot of confidence in that one. He was looking for it coming out the backside. It was shot by Lee Sorkin from the Lethbridge Hurricanes.
Shervatikin up to the line, number 3, working away along the boards. Yashmanev trying to come away with it. Puck knocked loose by Jason Botterill. Here comes Botterill. And couldn't quite get in on goal. Shervatikin coming back in the play, able to tap it away from him. Botterill not the fleetest of foot, and that didn't help him much there. Daze going after it. Runs into Yashmanev at the line. Badarushin for Russia. Gusev just gets it off the boards up to center. And play is called back. And another too many men in the ice penalty called against Russia.
Update from Calgary. Timo Salonen of Finland whips around the net and slides it by Henrik Smags on the wraparound. Finland on the board now, trailing 3-1 late in the second and on the power play.
And a power play is what's going to happen here for Canada. The Russians got caught in a line change there. Too many men in the ice.
Oh, the Russians have had a real tough time today at their own bench. There you go. We saw 4 players on the right. 2 more came into the picture. That would make 6. Again, you don't want to show any mercy in a game like this. They're up by 4. Canada would desperately love to get another goal here.
Puck cleared in by McCabe. Allison moving up there after it. Here's Sorkin back at the line. Lee Sorkin clears it down to the corner. Marty Murray going after it. Here's McCabe, just fires by him and down the ice. 1:30 to go in the Canadian power play. Marty Murray is up front along with Allison and Daze. Here's McCabe up for Daze. At the line trying to get by Vyshedkiewicz. Here's McCabe. Marty Murray for Canada. Ryan Smith comes off the bench and into the play. Couldn't control the pass, though. This is McCabe with it. Don Hay will change up his power play unit with 58 seconds to go in the man advantage. 7 minutes to go in the third period. Canada with an 8-4 lead against Russia. McCabe. O'Neill and Smith head into forecheck. And the puck comes out past Baumgartner. Tucker is the other forward out there for Canada. He has the puck now. O'Neill going for the net. And the puck gets rolling. Smith with a shot. Tarasov stopped that one. And he holds on to it. 30 seconds still to go in the power play for Canada.
Check your 50-50 tickets.
Because you don't stretch your toes during the 7th inning stretch. Micotin penetrates the skin to kill athlete's foot.
5, 8, 9.
Well, who'd have guessed it, Bob? 17 goals scored by Canada against Russia in the last 2 years that they've met at the World Junior. This game isn't even over yet. Canada has scored 45 goals in this tournament. The record for a Canadian team, 1986 in Hamilton when they scored 54.
And they won the silver medal that year, losing a game in the final 4-1 to Russia. The Soviet Union, rather.
Harvey is in front, got the great pass from Daig, but was tied up on the play. Anisimov was watching him. Big play by Anisimov to take that goal away from Harvey. Daig along the boards. Daig gets loose, Harvey is in front, Friesen is down low. Daig to Harvey. And again, Anisimov interfering with him so he couldn't get the shot away. Penalized player back on the ice. The team's at even strength. Canada with an 8-4 lead, 6 minutes to play in the third period. So it appears at this stage as though Canada will control its own destiny heading into the final day of the World Junior Championship. And that is assuming that Sweden hangs on to beat Finland. If Finland beats Sweden, then that's it. Canada will celebrate a gold medal victory sitting in the dressing room. Still 5:40 to go here. You're watching the World Junior Championship from Red Deer, Alberta.
Overall, it's the most powerful line of trucks on the planet. A line of trucks built by people who look at things a little differently. From the company that puts an airbag in every single one. A line of trucks that from one end to the other simply refuses to follow the rules. From Dodge, Canada's truck stop.
So I'm channel surfing when it occurs to me, I wouldn't mind hitting one of those fashion TV shows in Paris. You know, I'd find out what's in, find out what's out. That'd be cool. And who knows, maybe someone over there would appreciate the enduring qualities of a true Canadian lager. Hey, trendy colors come and go. Me, I prefer blue.
Could be the gold medal game. That's what most people thought it would be when the tournament started. Sweden and Canada. We'll have it for you live on TSN. 8:30 Eastern time on Wednesday after a day off. Put a tiger in your tank or a tiger tail in your hands, I guess. It's a good luck charm, I'm assuming. Here's Botterill. Here's Sharavianov. Has one of the goals for the Russians. Dezay bounces him off the puck. Yachmanev in back of the goal trying to get it in front. Zavarukin trying the wraparound. Teams are at even strength. Zavarukin drops it off. Sharavianov couldn't get the shot away. Botterill poked it away from him. Here's Botterill for Canada. Gets it out. Zavarukin works it across. Shabaterkin clears it in. Yachmanev inside the line, poked away. Dezay trying to get up there to it. Gusev gets it across. Yachmanev coming in, drops it back. Puck fired by Zavarukin high and wide. Ryan Smith hooked up there. Gets it ahead to Tucker. Tucker trying to return favor, but Zavarukin back there to break it up. Zavarukin for Russia. Brings it in around the boards. 4:40 to play in the third period. It is 8-4. Canada leading Russia. In the other game of importance, Sweden is leading Finland by a score of 3-1. Gord Miller watching that game for you. As soon as something happens, we'll bring you right up to date on it. If Sweden hangs on to win that game, then Canada and Sweden will play for gold on Wednesday. If Finland comes back and picks up a win, then Canada will be gold medal champions before the final day of the tournament. Baumgartner hands it off to Tucker. Back to Nolan Baumgartner. 4 minutes to play. Chad Allen flipping it in for Canada. Harlamov circling back around behind his own net. Harlamov gets it across. Here's Murray. McCabe is clearing the puck in. And Anisimov up there after it. He's given a bump along the boards. Here's Corville. Allison back of the net, trying to sneak in front. The puck on the mesh. And they jam it up there. Finally, it's poked in front. Tarasov eyeing that one as it came in front of him. Melikov. Puck up ahead. Epenchiev along the boards. Epenchiev tied up there. Corville giving a bump. And Anisimov trying to get it to Epenchiev.
Paul, one more permutation on that Sweden-Finland game. If it should end in a tie, Canada would also win the gold medal.
They are after 2 periods in that crucial game between Sweden and Finland. Sweden is leading the game 3-1. We'll go to that game as soon as this one is over, by the way, and let you know how it finishes up. Epenchiev in back of his own net. Here's Harlamov. Long pass up ahead. Melyakov. Melyakov along the line, trying to get loose. Puck moved up by Jovanovski. Here comes Daig. Friesen coming up. Jovanovski trailing Daig. Backhanded it in there. Tarasov able to knock it away. Shabaterkin up to the line. He'll hang back. That's Zavarukin down in the corner. Couldn't get it to him. Here comes Friesen back. Jeff Friesen shoots. Tarasov knocks that down. Here's Yachmanev. Less than 2 minutes to go in the game. Canada leading at 8-4. Puck in front, scores! Vitaly Yachmanev makes it 8-5 with 1:51 to go.
Well, Brian McCabe thought he had Vitaly Yachmanev all tied up in front of the net. He had his body tied up, but not his stick. The nice feed out in front, and Yachmanev just gets the stick down. McCabe all over him, but not to the degree that he needed to be. And Jamie Stewart a little taken aback by that one, seemed to be fooled by the shot. 8-5 with 1:51 to go. Do you believe in Russian miracles? Well, we'll soon find out.
It would be a miracle But they got to get up, dust themselves off, and take a run at it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the capital of the wonderful land of Canadian cheese. On your left is the fabulous Fontina Fountain. Note its watermelon brochettes. And here it comes, the magnificent Monterey Jack Monument. And our national garden alive with fresh Colby and blue cheese. Finally, we have the Golden Gouda Palace. Don't forget our delicious cheeses at our souvenir shop.
Welcome to the land of Canadian cheese.
Our game story, as always throughout this tournament, brought to you by the Canadian Dairy Products Association, naturally the best. And the feature player in our storyline tonight, Eric Daze, 3 goals and an assist. Eric will receive a check for $1,000 courtesy of Canadian Dairy Products, and he can turn around and endorse that check to the Minor Hockey Association of his choice.
Well, Dmitry Klovakin, number 9, in for slashing, and that's going to put a serious crimp in the Russians' attempt at making the miracle comeback here in the last minute and 55 seconds.
Tarasov stops that drive from Marty Murray, and the puck cleared out. So the real drama still to be played out in this day in the tournament, taking place about an hour and a half south of Red Deer in Calgary at the Saddledome, where Sweden is playing Finland. Sweden is leading 3-1. Sweden must win that game. They must win it in order for the final game of the tournament on Wednesday against Canada to be the gold medal game. If Sweden ties or if Finland wins, then Canada will celebrate gold tonight.
Todd Harvey says that's not exactly the way that they would like to win the gold, but he'd take it. I'm sure they certainly would. But I think Don Hayes is going to be very careful. I don't think it's going to be a situation, I could be wrong on this, where they're going to come off the ice and they're going to go running for the television to see how Sweden and Finland do. Because you don't want to get yourself in that emotional state of mind like you might win the gold medal in the dressing room. What you want to do is you want to go into your normal routine, stay in it. And if they should happen to give you the good news a little bit later, fine, then you start celebrating. But to sit in front of the TV and start waiting for the gold medal to be won could take the edge off you for your next game.
Interesting theory. See if that holds true afterwards. We'll be watching the game anyway. O'Neill trying to come in. Botterill is parked down in front. 59 seconds left in the Canadian power play. Baumgartner shoots. Tarasov steers that one away. McCabe moving up, couldn't keep it in.
Well, I know if I was Don Hay, I wouldn't want my players glued in front of the television set, focusing on what somebody else is doing.
Here comes Ryan Smith. He's on the move. Loves to drive the net. Puck up ahead. Melyukov trying to come in. What a great effort by this Canadian team. A tremendous effort. They're leading 8-5. Let's let the fans bring it home with them. Canada's perfect, and their fate is in their hands. For those of you watching the game on ESPN2, hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you later on. And for those of you watching in Canada, stick around. We have the Player of the Game Award still to come, and then we will take you live to the game between Sweden and Finland taking place at the Saddledome in Calgary. At last word, it is 3-1. Sweden is leading Finland.
Coach Don Hay has to be happy with his team's performance today. Big smile all the way around for the Canadian coaching staff. Netminder Jamie Storr. They took advantage of their opportunities. We can go on and on about whether the 5-minute major was warranted for what Koroluk did, but it doesn't matter. They got it. Canada took advantage of it. Lots of power play goals. Now let's check out players of the game for both teams.
Ladies and gentlemen, participating in the closing ceremonies of today's game are the premier sponsors of Canadian hockey, Air Canada and Esso, together with the official sponsor of the World Junior Championship, Alberta Lotteries. Representing Air Canada, Denis Vandel, Manager Commercial Sponsorship. Representing Esso is Mr. Dave Thompson. And representing the Alberta government and Alberta Lotteries, Mr. Victor Dirksen. Today's players of the game will receive a Sony Walkman, compliments of Sony Canada. Making the Team Russia Player of the Game presentation is Mr. Victor Dirksen on behalf of Alberta Lotteries. The Team Russia Player of the Game, number 13, Valentin Morozov.
Valentin Morozov, a draft pick of the Pittsburgh Penguins in 1994, plays for the Red Army in Moscow, and he's the player of the game.
Team Canada Player of the Game presentation is Mr. Denis Vandel on behalf of Air Canada. The Team Canada Player of the Game is number 24, Eric Daze.
You had to figure this. Daze with a great day. Picked up the hat trick. Also an assist on the way to the win.
Eric Daze, who was put on the checking line today. Get that, he gets a hat trick being put on the checking line.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise for the playing of the...
And now the national anthem of the winning country.
Six down, 1 to go. Canada has one more game to play at the World Junior Championship after an 8-5 win over the Russians.
All my life was a paper.
A lifetime of dreams.
Once plain, pure, and white.
A lifetime of color.
Till you moved with your brush and with your special touch made the colors just right.
Decorate your life with color. See your Benjamin Moore dealer.
Decorated my life.
Benjamin Moore, a stroke of brilliance.
You decorated my life.
As a coach, I demand toughness. As a parent, I look for protection. That's why I choose iTech. iTech gloves have a patented freeform fit. And this Tech Light helmet is as light as a feather and highly protective, ideal for growing players. And the iTech face shield provides superior protection and increased visibility. iTech, clearly the best protection in sight.
There are some things you can't put a price on. Fortunately, safety isn't one of them.
Roadside assistance?
Cantel Amigo for $19.95 a month with no setup fees and no long-term commitment. Because if you had to put a price on safety, this is it. Cantel Amigo.
Time now for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Apple Auto Glass. Second period. Game tied at 3. Jason Allison with a face-off. He wins it to Jamie Rivers, and Jamie Rivers fires home the go-ahead goal. Canada would not trail again. That is today's TSN Turning Point. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for the training and development of Canadian coaches in amateur sport. On behalf of TSN and Apple Auto Glass, guarantee the pick of the crop from coast to coast. As the Canadians head to their dressing room and the fans head for the exits, you have to shake your head here in Red Deer. The fans here have not yet seen a close game involving Team Canada, as the Canadians win this one by a count of 8-5, but hey, they'll take the wins any way they can get them. Of course, the other game that we are watching is now in the third period. It's Sweden against Finland. Sweden begins the third, leading the game by a count of 3-1. Finland scored late in the second period. Again, if Finland wins or ties this game, Canada gets the gold medal. We promise we keep you up to date, and here we go to the Saddle Dome. Paul and Bob will have the pictures and the commentary from here in Red Deer.
Finland trailing by a score of 3-1. Aalto trying to come in. Mikaeo going for the front of the net. That's broken up. 13-10 to play in the third period. Like I said, 13:02 to play in the third period. And it's 3-1. Sweden is leading Finland. Vuorivirta. Ottoson gets it up ahead. Soderberg down in the corner. Soderberg dropping it out there for Ottoson, trying to get it out in front of the net. Puck comes up ahead now. Here's Timonen. Long shot. Puck fired in. That is stopped by Smans. Rebound. Scramble in front of the net. Sova up there looking for it. Rajamäki throwing it back out towards the slot, but that's broken up. Here comes Soderberg. Now back for Sweden. Soderberg burrowing in there. Karlsson trailing in the play, and Soderberg is tied up. Ottoson trying to get it in on goal. Here's Ottoson for Sweden. Trying to pick his way through. Back for Soderberg. Moves it out to the line. Puck fired in. Kiprusoff knocked that away. Trying to cover it up. Puck still loose at the back. Soderberg trying to get it in front. He's tied up in the play. Now he's right back into it. Here's Soderberg circling in front. Trying to get it to Karlsson. That's knocked away. 12 minutes to play. Sweden is leading Finland 3-1. Canada has already defeated Russia 8-5 in the game played in Red Deer. We are watching live action of this game taking place at the Olympic Saddle Dome in Calgary. Hellaston tried to tee it up for the shot. He was checked from behind. Down in the corner, Hellaston. Up around the boards, Mattsson there waiting for it. Halttunen clearing it back into Swedish territory. Get the feeling Sweden at this point would be perfectly happy just to go very conservative on the forecheck and sit in the lead.
Well, the Swedes have a 2-goal lead, and under normal circumstances, that's more than enough for them just to cruise the rest of the way. They are excellent at protecting a lead, except in yesterday's game against the Russians, the Swedes led 4-2, and they ended up losing 6-4, and Coach Tommy Topp was not at all happy with either his team or the refereeing yesterday. Thought they were victimized. The Finns have got to start shooting the puck. Was attempted there by number 9, Helston, but his stick was just lifted by number 21, Jesper Mattsson. This defenseman, Jonas Andersson Junke, has really impressed me, a Pittsburgh draft pick. Throughout this tournament, really stepped up his play, especially after Dick Turnstrom and Matthias Uhlin were injured, two of the top Swedish defensemen. Turnstrom missed a few games, is now back in the saddle, scored twice against the Russians yesterday. Matthias Uhlin could be back.
About 11 minutes to play in the third period. I'm Paul Romanuk along with Bob McKenzie. And this is bonus coverage here at the World Junior Hockey Championship as they scrum it up along the boards, and a penalty coming up.
It's going to be a tripping call against the Finns. Sweden advancing over the blue line. And a partisan crowd at the Saddle Dome, obviously cheering Finland on. That's Koko, number 5. He's going to pick up the penalty. Right there, sticks the leg out. Knocks Jesper Mattsson, the captain of the Swedish team, down and out. And Sweden will go to the power play.
So all things being equal, if Sweden can hang on and win this game, then the game between Canada and Sweden on Wednesday will be the gold medal game for the 1994-95 World Junior Hockey Championship. That's Harry Rendell, the head coach of Finland. His team was in the running for the gold until they were defeated yesterday by Canada. Russia was still in the running until they lost today to Canada. Canada, the only perfect team in the tournament. Sweden was defeated yesterday by Russia. Puck back to the line. And the Swedes will be very patient.
It's
Tarnstrom is the high man back at the point. Pardon me, this is Tarnstrom along the boards, number 6, pinching up. Sundstrom with the puck. Trying to work it back. Now Tarnstrom has it. Tarnstrom gets it up to Sundstrom. Looking towards the front of the goal. Not much traffic. Tarnstrom with a shot. That's knocked down. Hit someone on the way in. The Finnish defenseman blocked it, and he is a little slow getting up behind the play. Tarnstrom takes out his man, and Sundstrom will start back for the Swedes. Working it up. 1:13 to go in the power play for Sweden. Sweden leading this game 3-1. Sundstrom in the corner. He has Svartvedt around back of the net. Back at the line. Puck worked across. Tarnstrom there, breaking in towards the front of the goal. Lots of traffic to fire it through. The puck rings up around the boards. Tarnstrom had moved in from his point position and wasn't back there to keep it in. With 50 seconds left in the man advantage now for Sweden.
Sweden pretty patient on this power play.
Davidson rushing the puck in.
They know this game is apparently well in hand. Just got to be careful not to sit on it too much and allow the Finns to even open the crack in the door to possibly get back in and tie it up. A tie would be devastating here for Sweden.
A tie would lose them the gold medal. Sweden 1 for 4 in the power play in this game. Puck comes out, fired just wide of the net. Axelsson was moving in looking for the rebound. 10 seconds left in the man advantage for Sweden. And about 9 minutes to play in this third period.
I'm sure Tommy Tomp wouldn't like to see it, but what we need, I think, for our viewers right now would be a Finnish goal to really get things cooking a little bit here. Down by 2, the Swedes doing a good job of protecting that lead. If Sweden should go on to win this game, setting up the gold medal showdown on Wednesday evening here at the Centrium in Red Deer, a tie would be devastating in that game as well. Sweden would have to win the game, not unlike the situation a year ago, except in reverse. Canada had to win the game last year. The Swedes only required a tie. And that, of course, is why Aaron Gaby's play in the dying seconds of last year's game against Sweden was so big. Canada leading by 1.
Penalized player back on. The teams all even up. And that was the best save of the tournament, bar none. Aaron Gaby, a forward, made it. So the teams all even up. About 9 minutes to go in this game. Icing is called on Finland. It's taking place at the Olympic Saddle Dome in Calgary. I'm Paul Romanek with Bob McKenzie. We're in our broadcast position at the Centrium in Red Deer, and where we've just watched Canada defeat the Russians by a score of 8-5.
Swedes have not been a dominant team in this tournament. They've had to get some good moments from players like Andreas Karlsson, who's playing in the building. He hopes he'll have a future in a Flame draft pick. This game, of course, at the Saddle Dome. Karlsson scored a pair of goals in a win that they eked out over the Czech Republic. Required a long blast from Jonas Andersson Juncker late in the game. Misplayed by the Czech goaltender, Nestak.
This is Antti Aalto carrying out for Finland. Puck cleared in. Elmo going up after it. He bumps his man along the boards. Puck pops around. Karalahti trying to keep it in. He'll fire it across.